This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Welcome everybody to the iRacing Esports Network, where we will decide tonight who is going to become the Apex Racing League TCR Winter Series champion. Good evening everybody. For Apex Racing TV, I'm Andrew Woodhouse alongside Adam Bath with Sam Kumo on the cameras. And Adam, we're here again, my friend, for 3 races, which is going to decide the title. And Wojciech Savidovic put himself in prime position last week, coming from nowhere in the regular season, but doing a great showdown, and he leads by 41 points. Can he do it? Can he make it 6?
Well, he's going to have to make sure he gets through all 3 races today to make sure that he gets his hands on another title, because his lead isn't too big at all. Just 41 points. And if he were to slip up in any of race 1, race 2 or race 3, pick up a no score, pick up 0 points, then everybody else will be right back on his coattails. So he has to do... he has to have a pretty textbook evening if he wants to pick up another title, but you're right, yeah, going into Belle Isle, it was a pretty pivotal race meeting in terms of the showdown, and it's resulted in him having, leaping up the order to be at the top of the championship for the first time pretty much this season, going into the final round. So he couldn't have timed his ascent up to table any better, really.
Yeah, and we look at him now and the Apex Racing team in their qualifying session. Line astern, trying to get some good slipstream in play. They are doing so indeed out there. They'll be looking to wind up and get a good time. And Ross Balfour goes fastest with a 155.624. He was incidentally tagging along behind the reigning champion on that previous lap. See the 3 Apex cars there trying to get a run. You've got Sedgwick, Simmons, and then also Alex Simpson, I believe, in there. So they'll be looking to try and get a good time in. They haven't got those times in yet at the moment, but there's definitely room to improve. Looking at the standings, it is Savidovic from Sedgwick with Kraft in 3rd. Dave Baker is in 4th place. I believe that Dave Baker is not going to take part tonight. We think he's having internet issues, which is such a shame for Dave, as he still had an outside chance of taking his 2nd title. You see the points on the screen there. Cooper in 5th, Foggy, then Sutton, Rushworth, Harrod, McFarlane, Simmons and Wood. That's the top 12 in the Pro Championship standings. Over in the AM category, it's another veteran at the top of the standings. Kip Stevens leads by 30 points. And he's formerly a 2-time champion of the main series, so to try and win the AM category here. And I think become the first person to win an AM and a Pro Championship. He leads David Van Broek by 30 points. Mark Woodhouse in 3rd, then Paul Smith, then Michael Blake, then John Roberts, then Warmingham, Hedgecock, McNally, Nella, Van Rijn, Berridge and Whitehead. There's some apparently there's some strife down at the boosted team today, Adam.
Well, yeah, they've got just about a team together. John Roberts somehow is on the circuit despite doing in his back this morning, and Adam Hedgecock is really got his work cut out. He busted his wrist in the Daytona 24 Hours on iRacing, which happened a couple of days ago. He's racing against doctor's orders, so credit to him, and he's even managed to work out what corners he can go around left-handed. Plus, he's also turned the force feedback off as well, I think, on his steering wheel. So all precautionary measures have been taken, and it shows you it's pretty demanding sport, this sim racing malarkey, as the rest of the cars go onto the banking now. And yeah, credit to Boosted, they've still got a strong contingent, and even with a cricked back, John Roberts is 22nd right now, 7th in the Pro-Am category. So that's no mean feat for him. He's actually just one place behind Wojciech Savinovic right now.
I'll tell you, it's not easy, this sim racing, especially given everybody has their own setups, and some drivers that like the steering a little bit stronger, and some are sat just on office chairs or dining chairs, some are laid down nearly, some are full formula seats or GT seats. And the forces going through the arms and shoulders and neck can be quite strong. No G-force, of course, but the effort going, especially in the 24-hour endurance race, can be pretty tough. You can see that that's Lee Berridge diving out of the way as the pack comes through on fast laps, like Ross McFarlane was going on one.
Now we're looking here at George Simmons, who's in 19th place. He's coming over the line now, picking up a decent tow off the back of one of his Apex colleagues there. Over the line goes Simmons, and a good lap time by
P3.
But for him, he moves up to P3. Wojciech Savinovic moves up to P7. I was just about to say he needs to have a decent lap, because he was in the midfield. He wasn't able to, and 7th place is still a good time from him.
Not bad at all, especially considering some of his earlier qualifying performances at the start of the season weren't great. Top 10, he'll take that. He just wants to bring the points home. Looking at the Teams Championship then, Apex Racing Team are leading the way in the Pro category, ahead of CQR and Sim Sports Racing USA. Those two teams, the only realistic challengers in this one. XVR are in 4th, V-Racer in 5th, with Automate.co.uk in 6th, but neither of those three teams have really got I've got a challenge on the title today. And in the Pro-Am Teams Championship, Smart Time Simauto lead the way with a 170-point lead over Boosted Sim Sport, with Boosted Motorsport in 3rd, as we've said, battered and bruised those two teams. Automate Knock Hill in P4 and Excite Racing in 5th. So there's a lot to play for tonight, Adam, and of course the prize fund is it's well over $1,000, I believe, isn't it, tonight?
Oh yeah, definitely. We talked about this last week at Belle Isle. Just trying to find the exact amount for you. But yeah, it's not as much as with the usual pro campaign, but nonetheless,
because of the shorter season, of course.
Of course, yeah. But it's an £1,100 prize pool. The winner will decide. We did mention this as well, whether they want to use their cut as iRacing credits and the same value to a charity of their choice, or if they just want to keep the cash and send nothing to charity. So I don't think it'll be like Love Island, where we ask them at the end where they want to send them money and do all that. But yeah, but that's how the money will be split at the end.
Well, we've had a Love Island reference on iRacing Esports Network, everybody. So enjoy that one. Hopefully nobody's ex-boyfriend or girlfriend will turn up here tonight and ruin the proceedings. But Ross Balfour leads the way then in qualifying, as it is the checkered flag now. So drivers who are on a lap, of course, can complete them. In the battle for pole position, I wonder if anybody still has anything left in the tank. We're looking at Sean Gardner out there in the boosted car. 30th place at the moment for Sean. Now, what's he done in terms of sectors? That he hasn't improved in any of them so far. is on a lap, but don't know what he's going to get out of it. He'll be looking probably to beat his teammates in the boosted contingent. SimSport and Motorsport out there, of course. Van Broek is 25th. The highest boosted car is Adam Hedgecock, who's soldiering on with that arm injury in 14th place. That's an actually excellent effort from Adam Hedgecock. Sean Gardner comes across, doesn't improve then from his time of a 157.4. And we're looking now at Alex Simpson, who's on the lap. What can he do?
This is the circuit where he famously took Wojciech Savidovic all the way.
Three green sectors, and actually 2 green sectors for Savidovic, who's coming to the line as well then. Championship leader coming across. Savidovic, what does he do? He goes third fastest. Third fastest for Wojciech Savidovic. Very nearly snatched pole away from Balfour, but it will be a second row start for the 5 times champion.
And a solid lap from Simpson there as well. All those green boxes results in him moving from 26th up to 10 in the dying embers of the qualifying session there.
Yeah, I don't think it's his absolute favourite circuit, this one, but seems to be doing okay. In terms of CQR, quite a depleted field for them really tonight. Just the 3 cars out there, Rose, Rushworth and Sutton. Sutton didn't take part in qualifying, so I wonder if he's got a pit lane start. Well, he might be banned from qualifying, of course.
Should be everyone, so in a minute we will run you through the full grid. Here is Andrew Whitehead, but he's not running at a representative pace anyway. I don't think so anyway.
What of the walking wounded then? Where did John Roberts qualify? 24th, that's not bad. Just behind Paul Smith. And in the AM category, John Roberts is in 6th place. Now, he's 100 points behind. It's going to be very, very difficult for him to mount a challenge today, but you never know. He could still do it. The more likely man to do it is David Van Broek, who's only 30 points behind Adam. It could be his time to shine tonight.
Well, the AM category changed loads at Belle Isle, so and it's a lot closer than the pro title as well.
Woodhouse started the night in the lead, and then it went to someone else, and then it ended up with Stevens up there. So anything can happen. Here's the grid.
Here we go then. Ross Balfour on pole position, just 17 thousandths of a second ahead of Jack Sedgwick. Wojciech Savidovic just 9 thousandths of a second behind him. Should be a rolling start, so we do have a bit more time to run you through the grid too. Championship leader, of course, Wojciech Savidovic as well. He's got an acting wingman in 4th place in George Simmons for Apex Racing Team. Then Ross McFarlane in 5th, Jason Cooper 6th, then Christian Rose 7th. Jamie Rushworth starting in 8th, former champion. Nicole Foggy 9th, and 10th Alex Simpson with that late lap. 1 thousandth of a second behind him is Pete Harrod. Then Pete Newman. It's a road made entirely of Pete's on row 6 there. Then Sven Glatzel, then Adam Hedgecock. Adam Hadfield starting in 15th with Lee Berridge in 16th. Michael Blake, there he is in 17th, number 44. Then Ben Palmer, Kip Stevens in 19th. He was on the pole position twice, I think, at... he was definitely near the front anyway at Belle Isle in races 2 and 3. Jake Blackhall, the Aussie, starting in 20th. 21st, Richard Warmingham. 22nd, Paul Smith. He's got a stream going tonight. I saw him putting a shout out for that. John Roberts starting in 23rd with Alex Neller, just a couple of thousandths of a second behind him. 25th, Mark Whithouse, then the Belgian David Van Breck in 25th. Don't know why it says 2 25th places there. 26th place, Michael Hall, then Simon Fields, Lars Van Ryn, then Sean Gardner, Andrew Whitehead, Martin Sampson, Scott Malcolm, Rob Graham, and then Ash Sutton there in 34th place.
Yeah, if you're wondering why it's a rolling start here tonight, it is simply because we're starting on the banked oval. So even though it's the tri-oval here that we're starting on at the Daytona International Speedway, it is still sloping, so it is quite difficult for the drivers to get enough purchase on the start, Adam. We've had many starts on these ovals when it hasn't been a rolling start, and it's not super easy, is it?
Well, yeah, I've done it in rear-wheel drive cars before, and it is incredibly difficult to get the power down And I'm sure it'd be pretty similar in these front-wheel drive cars. I think when the superbikes come here, they start basically in the pit lane and then complete the lap on the tri-oval. But we can't do that here. So here we go then, getting ready for the first race.
Yeah, and what can happen? Who is going to take advantage and the initiative going into the last 2 rounds of the season? Who's going to be the Winter Series champion? Ross Balfour brings us to the green flag. There it is. Good start by Savinovic as well. He's got ahead of Sedgwick already. So that's the championship contenders swapping round immediately off the good start by the Polish driver. So Balfour leads, then Savinovic, then Sedgwick, then McFarlane. So you've got Northern Ireland, then Poland, England and Scotland, the top 4.
A few cars looking at the inside into the horseshoe. 2 CQRs doing battle there. That's Christian Rose and Jamie Rushworth over 7th and 8th place. Started together on the grid and they're still going at it. Everybody else relatively comfortable. As who's that? That's number 99 trying to get involved. That's Alex Simpson. He's trying to get by Nicole Foggy going into the second of the hairpins.
So some important news really, Adam. It looks like Ash Sutton hasn't taken the start, and it also looks like Mark Woodhouse hasn't either. So I don't know what's happened to Woodhouse, but the 3rd place man in the AM category looks like he's seeing his title hopes go down the drain here at Daytona in the final meeting.
Oh no. Well, hopefully we can get him out for race 2 or race 3.
Unless it's just a timing error, but it doesn't seem like it is.
Well, here we go onto the banking for the first time, and you can see a few of the drivers trying to use the high lines, try and get the best possible run onto the short back straight here before the bus stop chicane.
What did we say in 2015, Adam? It's gravity helping you there with that banking. Get a bit more natural momentum as well.
Oh.
Look at Adam Hedgecock. He's made a great start. He's right on Pete Newman at the moment.
Wonder if he's using one arm from here.
Well, yeah, you would think so, wouldn't you? I mean, it's easy in these touring cars around here because the speed isn't that high. So it isn't that high. It's still probably 140 miles an hour. And of course, the drivers mentioned last week in the press conference after the race that as Savinovic is going for the lead here on Balfour, and he almost turns across him, and you don't want to put yourself in that kind of danger that early, Adam, because it could be disaster.
Well, there was the slightest touch from right front to left rear by Balfour and Savinovic there.
Look
and
at McFarlane.
There might have been a bit more contact as here is, yeah, you're right, Cedric V. McFarlane.
Ross McFarlane flying the flag for V-Racer then today. 10th in the championship, 162 points behind. Unless there's an absolute apocalypse, he's not going to win the title, Ross McFarlane, but he really wants to show that he is amongst that elite group. I believe he certainly is that. Oh, and they've got into each other there. Sedgwick runs a bit wide, understeers, and as a result pushes McFarlane out, and Sedgwick loses out to George Simmons. As a result, McFarlane dives at the inside of the Automate Knock Hill car there of the Automate.co.uk of Jason Cooper, who's in P5. Great start for Cooper, and that team is really showing well in these situations, Automate this season. But McFarlane looking good. Then it's Rushworth and Nicole Foggy's split the 2 CQR cars. What I was just getting at, Adam, before we saw that incident at the front, was that the drivers were stating after the race last week that the cars are on the limiter at the end of this long flat-out section. Yeah,
they mentioned it, and even Alex Simpson said that even when they trim the wings out as much as they can, I think Dave Baker might have been saying this as well, even that can't help them at all. So we're not going to see as much as what we saw in the Kia, but let's see what happens here. This will be slipstreaming in action as George Simmons closes right up to the back of his teammate, Wojciech Savinovic.
So it's a fixed gear ratio, isn't it? That is the problem. Look at this.
Bit of bump drafting there by Simmons.
You can hear it. You can hear that sort of agitated engine note. And that is the car's right on the rev limiter. And Savinovic is a bit sideways through there. Might have had a little bit of assistance from Balfour.
You can see how late they're getting on the brakes into that first corner, though. They're right on the edge.
McFarlane dives in. And he's a bit too late on the brakes almost, but still getting involved with Jack Sedgwick. After their set 2 on the first lap.
It's 2 laps in a row that McFarlane's been on the outside of that corner. He just wants to try and get on the inside for a change, and he's
The inside now as he missed his braking point, the Scotsman.
Bash, take that at the inside. Little bit of a little knock on the door there of Ross Balfour's Course Sim Racing Audi.
Cedric having a go at the inside again, or at least thinking about it. Cedric's been the class of this field, but you can almost see slightly the stresses and pressure of the end of the championship. This is where the likes of Wojciech Savidovic have done it before. They know the pressure, Adam, and Savidovic, who's done it 5 times, it's not tough for him anymore. He knows that the mental game is within his reach. It's just, is he quick enough out here in this Daytona International Speedway?
Well, this driver and track combination has pretty much wrapped up titles for the last 4 or 5 years, so he knows how to get it done around here when it really matters the most. The car might have changed for this season, as they all take a lot of liberties with the curves through the bus stop chicane there, but he's still right where he needs to be at the front as they go.
Oh, that's no good. That's Joe Simmons, as usual, doing a bit of a disappearing act.
Ross Balfour in the slipstream this time. This is the first time he's not going to be in the lead.
And Simmons is pushing Savidovic, look, it's having no effect.
You can see, look at the dashboard, it's telling him to shift, but there's no more gears.
But now that the revs have come, now that the revs have hit the limit, the bump drafting does have an advantage. McFarlane's gone into Simmons, and Simmons has gone into Savidovic, and it's happened already. We've had a collision at the first corner. And there goes the CQR car around as well. And he's in the middle of the course. And that CQR car that was off was Jamie Rushworth. And so we need to see that again. We need to see that again. So that could be pivotal for the championship, Adam. Take us through it.
Well, so Simmons is on the inside. McFarlane comes up the inside and hits the back of Simmons. Simmons then tries to slow down, but can't stop by hitting his teammate. Then
poor old Ross Balfour got a big face full of, instead of Kia Optima, then of Audi RS3.
And then Simmons is trying to get back up to racing speed, and then Rushworth just comes across the front, and then that causes all sorts of mess. But it looks like both of them have been able to carry on without too much damage. But, well, yeah, you're right. What a crucial moment in the championship this could be. Here we go, on board with Ross McFarlane, gets on the brakes. Oh, there's the tap. And he keeps...
Oh, and then it's the second nudge, isn't it?
Yeah.
Double kiss.
Well, meanwhile, I think Jack
Cedric... right in the corner pocket, he sent them off into.
Yeah. Well, good thing there was plenty of runoff area there. So Wojciech Savidovic has got going, but he is in 29th place.
Wow.
Ross Balfour did get it going as well, but he's in 16th, so his race isn't as ruined. But Wojciech Savidovic, his evening is pretty much dependent on the reverse grid now. He needs as big as a reverse grid as he can possibly get.
Indeed, and Cedric is at the head of the race. And that is going to be a struggle for Savidovic now. Jack Cedric is absolutely going to be laughing in this car. He's going to be so happy he's ended up at the front. Jason Cooper, Automate, looking for some bubbly out there. Alex Simpson sets the fastest lap, and there he is. And he and Nicole Foggy have just descended on this group, Adam, and it's now back to a 5-car scrap.
Even though the car's
Foggy in the middle of these races, look at the pace of the XVR.
The inside he goes, and through he goes. So Jason Cooper still in and amongst it. Alex Simpson, who has raced at this track quite a few times, trying to get involved. See if we can get up the inside into the hairpin here. We haven't seen too much in the way of overtakes in the infield section thus far.
It's the nature of this circuit, though, isn't it? With the tight corners, the tight infield hairpins, that accidents can happen because people can miss the braking points, or they can have a little lunge. I don't know if some of the adrenaline's wearing off for Adam Hedgecock, but he's down to 17th. And he's still fighting hard in the boosted car, with effectively with one arm.
Tell you what, the braking and the turning, even with the force feedback turned off for turn 1, that'd be quite tough. But here he is. He's got Balfour and Simmons for company.
Well, that is a good. Well, that's a good 3 cars actually with Jamie Rushworth. Incidentally, the 3 cars that were most involved in that turn 1 incident. But that's a good 3 cars for Hedgecock to tag along to, isn't it? And hopefully pull him forward. So in terms of the AM category, then where's Kip Stevens? He's 22nd. He's dropped 3 positions from where he started. David Van Broek is up to 18th place, so the second place man in the category has gone ahead of the championship leader, at least in this round. Paul Smith is actually there behind Kip Stevens, and he's 48 points behind him in the championship, so it's imperative for Smith's title aspirations if he can get in front of Stevens. And he's fighting, but he's got a slow down penalty, Adam, it looks like, and that could put paid to that.
Yeah, there's only one place you could have got that, and that's through the bus stop chicane, unfortunately.
Off goes. Well, it was boosted car off. I think it was Van Ryan. But this is the battle in the top 10. That's Christian Rose, Sven Glatzel, Ben Palmer. Oh, Wojciech Savidovic and Sean Gardner have crashed.
Oh no!
It's getting worse for Savidovic.
That's at the first of the horseshoes. Now let's see what happens here. Now, he's got 2 boosted cars in front of him. He's 3 wide going into there. Oh, and that's an Automat car.
I wonder if Savidovic was trying to get out into that gap. Potentially misjudged it. I don't know. It's hard to see from that angle. But yeah, it's not going well for him. And look, he's
damaged.
He's out of the race.
Well, he's in 32nd place right now. If he can make it back to the pits and not go more than 2 laps down, he still gets points, which is the important thing. If he gets a 0, then he's in real trouble.
Something's wrong with his... It sounds like something's wrong with the gears.
Trundling around in second at the moment.
Bizarre circumstances here for Wojciech Savidovic, but I tell you what, Adam, if he does another 9 minutes like that, there's no way he's going to get points and be eligible for the reverse grid. It's all unravelling for Wojciech at the moment, but it's going extremely well for Jack Sedgwick. He still leads the way. He does lead over the line as well, which might be a little preview for later on. But Ross McFarlane surges through up the inside and into P1 Simpson. And Vladdy says to Nicole Foggy.
Oh, it was a jousting match, that, and it was the XVR Sim Racing car that got sent away for a wild ride. Now
he's not going to take too kindly to that one, Foggy.
I know.
I think he's going to be on the prowl later on, but he's not out of this one yet. The Scotsman, bookended by Scotsman, is this battle. And then behind them, you've got the Harrod, Palmer, Glatzel, Rose, Newman, Hadfield. Well, that's Blake and Blackall, that one is including.
Been a good race for Ben Palmer. 12 places gained as the cones get jettisoned everywhere.
I have to say as well, cracking race for Michael Blake up there in P12. Winning the AM category quite comfortably at the moment.
Michael Blake sitting in 5th place, 54 points off the top. He is ahead, of course, of everyone else around him in the Pro-Am standings, so he stands to gain some ground.
Yeah, this is brilliant for him. And him and Smith are having to fly the flag for Smile Time Simauto because of the demise of Woodhouse. We don't know exactly what's happened to Woodhouse, but sadly it looks like he's not going to be able to compete for this title.
Sedgwick back to the front. He's got past Ross McFarlane. Now let's see what the V-Racer car can do in the slipstream. Alex Simpson has got a very speedy, it looks like, Automat car behind him. He had to just about keep ahead of Jason Cooper there in 4th.
How good is it to see an Automat car up there in race 1, I tell you?
It's been a fantastic season for them in this new car.
3 wide.
Whew.
Good luck, chaps. Be nice knowing you all.
Take a guess at who led that lap.
I ain't got a clue.
Me neither. Let me have a look at the official sim for you. It was Sedgwick by 2 thousandths.
Oh, Simpson going to the outside of Cooper. Foggy was almost overlapped with him. It's going to be tasty, this. Going into the right-hander at the end of the... after this dog leg. And Simpson got an overlap on Cooper. Oh, he flies up the inside. Late on the brakes. Oh, that's really nicely done indeed. There's a tiny bit of contact there. Could overtake. Alex using his experience to his advantage there.
That left-hander before we get back onto the banking, it does invite a move, but in these Audis, it is pretty difficult to execute it. It's
tough because there's simply not enough braking area to get it done. And then in the faster cars with more downforce, it's almost the same. Now here's Jack Sedgwick trying to defend from McFarlane. Feel like this is getting down to the nitty-gritty now. I mean, it should be with 5 minutes to go, I guess, but we're going to have 2 laps to go at the finish line, it looks like.
Now, the only danger with bumping the car in front is that you could inadvertently turn them up into the safer barrier at the top of the banking. So,
yeah, or knock them onto the apron, and that's not great either. Look at this overspeed now that Simpson had, but it's curtailed somewhat by the engine limitations, as we've said. McFarlane still on the outside line. Sedgwick, you can see him wrestling with that car, right on the edge of adhesion with the braking. Oh, Simpson got alongside McFarlane. I think he has, you know. I think Foggy's got alongside Cooper as well. And that's the dual moves into the right-hander. And we did. Simpson hanging tough around the outside.
Oh.
And I tell you what, if he gets this one done, that'll be very, very good indeed. I think he has cleared him. That is tremendous stuff. Oh, little touch.
Well, we always go on about the Alex Simpson line at turn 1. Looks like he might have used that to full effect. It did take him a good 3 corners that infield to make it finally pay off. And now he's got this lap plus 1 other to see if he can take some points off Jack Sedgwick. I wonder if he'll do that, though.
No, I am a tiny bit biased. That was a heck of an overtake. Very, very good indeed. And this 5-car battle then. Sedgwick is trying to get away. Will he stay away? We need to look as well. Wojciech Savidovic is still going, Adam, but
he is a lap down, yeah.
Is he stuck in gear? Has something happened to that car where he's stuck in, what's second gear, maybe now third gear?
Not sure, maybe he's just trying to get to the end, not sure.
Why would he be in one gear? He'd be going faster on the straights, wouldn't he? Because he knows he needs those points.
Not sure.
He's already been lapped. There's definitely something wrong with that car. It's stuck on either the pit limiter or something. I haven't got a clue. Anyway. Oh, we're still going to get 2 more laps out of this, Adam.
Just about, yeah. Great exit by McFarlane there.
Brilliant.
He might have second place covered already. We'll see how late on the brakes Alex is into the hairpin. I don't think... Oh, he is. He's going to send it up the inside. Here he comes.
Well, he wants to protect Sedgwick's lead. Even though it's not directly against Foggy or McFarlane, really. It is against the rest of this field. Sedgwick needs the points for the title.
Well, you can see how big the gap is now. It's up to about just over a second just because of these two going wheel to wheel for the last few corners.
Defending by Simpson again. Knows where to put the car, though. It's that veteran experience again. McFarlane's been doing this a while now as well in the Audi and the Kia Optima previously. Foggy now giving a little nudge to his countryman just to say maybe we can get on with this a little bit and catch back up to Sedgwick. Of course, Alex. I nearly called you Alex then. Adam, Alex won't want the bump draft, will he? He doesn't want to be nudged towards Jack Sedgwick again.
Well, yeah, Foggy hit Ross McFarlane. He gave him the bump draft, and then McFarlane went and kindly passed the message on to Simpson there, going down the back straight. I wonder if he'll try and do the same thing again. They've managed to get the gap down to under a second. but they're going to have a good infield section here on the final lap if they want to really try and challenge Jack Sedgwick for the lead coming to the line.
Smith has got past Stevens in the AM category as well. So that's interesting stuff down there. That's points for the Yorkshireman. Oh my word. Who's it going to be to the line on this last lap? I mean, Sedgwick seems to have it under control.
It's kicking off in the background as well with Sim Sports Racing USA and everybody.
Oh my goodness me. Oh, and it's kicked off now. Newman. Oh, Blackhall's been sent across. Oh, he's into everybody. He's bowling for TCR cars. Dear me.
I think you might connect to John Roberts.
That'll please John Roberts no end, won't it?
Nico Foggy went up.
Oh, that's Glatzel going into the back of the CQR cars as well.
The Skittles continue about a couple of corners later. Nico Foggy went off on that lap. I'm not sure what happened, but he's still in fourth.
Blackhall's out of the race.
Blackhall's
out of the race, it looks like. Well, back to the front then, and Sedgwick is grimly holding on to this one. Three quarters of a second ahead. The third from last round of the season. I think he's going to do it. It doesn't look like there's anyone who can challenge him to the line. It's going to be interesting to see who's going to get second place. But Jack Sedgwick, well, I'll tell you what, he didn't get the best of starts. He took advantage of the carnage. And that has taken him through to a tremendous victory in round one here in the ARL TCR Winter Series. Jack Sedgwick is going to go to the head of the championship with this one. And he takes it. Simpson in second, Foggy third, McFarlane fourth. Great race for Cooper in fifth as well. There was some action on the last lap. Adam Glatzel, I think, went off the track. Maybe Balfour as well. They've dropped down, look, 15th and 16th.
Yeah, I did hear the sound of something smashing, and then after that, Glatzel was drifting down the order, and I'm not sure what happened at the bus stop chicane, but look at this.
You can't go below the line. You can't go below the line. Shouldn't do anyway.
Gardner, Berridge, and Warmingham that come home. Look at that. Get a handbrake out. 25th, 6th, and 7th.
Yeah, that didn't really assist Warmingham too much, did it? Neither did the handbrake.
Well then,
let's have a look at that. Can we have a look at that? The Glatzel Balfour incident just before we look at the result.
Well, here it is then. Balfour on the inside of the bus stop chicane. That's Glatzel we're looking at in the blue. Oh, he just about gets on
that's unlucky.
Shades of Katz and Sutton almost a couple of years ago.
Oh, he probably sent that one, didn't he? Glatzel. Very nearly made it. It was very nearly a very good overtake. He just couldn't hang on after the little tap he received. But the drivers will be eager to know who's going to be on pole position, so we're going to get the results on the screen, Adam.
Yeah, the last few cars coming across the line, so the positions aren't fully confirmed yet. Here is Boychester.
Did he get within 2 laps? That's the question. Is he just 1 lap? Is he 1 lap down there, or is he 2? I think he's 1.
He is 1. I think once we've fully got everyone across the line, he might get a few positions back. I'm not sure.
His last lap was a 2-minute dead, so which is okay. So whatever was ailing him seemed to be sorted by the end.
All right. Not sure. There we go. We're finally finished now. So we can bring you for the finishing order from race 1. Jack Sedgwick gets a win, and how crucial a win that could be for him. That is win number 8 of the season. Second for Alex Simpson, third for Nicole Foggy, fourth for Ross McFarlane, and Automex Jason Cooper getting a well-earned top 5. Ben Palmer gaining a load of positions to finish in 6th, ahead of his teammate Pete Harrod. Then 8th Adam Hadfield, 9th Christian Rose, and completing the top 10, Jamie Rushworth. Those 2 CQR cars are pretty much inseparable throughout the whole race there. George Simmons 11th, 12th for David Von Breck, Adam Hedgecock finishing 13th with his fellow partner in pain, John Roberts, in 14th. 15th, Ross Balfour. 16th, Sven Glatzel. 17th, Alex Nella. 18th, Michael Hall. 19th place finish for Michael Blake. Should say top AM honours go to Adam Hedgecock. That shuffled itself
What
out.
happened to Michael Blake then in the end?
Not too sure. But the last time we checked in with him, of course, he was leading the way there. His teammate in the Small Time Immortal stable, Paul Smith, finished in 20th. 21st, Kip Stevens. Then there's Pete Newman in 22nd. Simon Field, 23rd. Then Lars van Rijn. Sean Gardner there in 25th. Lee Berridge, 26th. Rich Warmingham, 27th. 28th, Scott Malcolm. 29th for Jake Blackhall, the Aussie. And then Andrew Whitehead, 30th. 31st, Martin Sampson. 32nd, Rob Graham. 1 lap down. Crucially, 1 lap down for Wojciech Savidovic. If he finished another lap down, he would have picked up no points at all. If it's a really big reverse grid as well, he will be on the pole. If it's a very small reverse grid, he'll be starting pretty much at the back. If they do take the start for race 2, Ash Sutton and Mark Woodhouse definitely will be starting on the back row of the grid because they did not score any points and didn't even take the start of this one either.
Yeah, and well, those guys near the back, especially Wojciech Savidovic, will be really eager to see where he's going to be starting race 2, and we're going to get that information now from Sam Kumo, who has the reverse grid wheel at his disposal. Sam, take it away, my friend.
Yeah, the wheel is on your screen right now, so second to last time this season. And I'm guessing Wojciech will be hoping for a big number, but not for any of these negatives. But unfortunately, it is going to be -4.
Okay. So Rob Graham is -1, -2 is Martin Sampson, then -3 is Jake Blackhall, -4 is Andrew Whitehead. I'm hoping I counted that right.
Yeah, that's right.
So Andrew Whitehead on pole position. It's a worryingly assuring yes from Mr. Woodhouse there. Yeah, it's Andrew Whitehead on the pole for race 2. Then Scott Malcolm 2nd, Rich Warmingham 3rd, Lee Berridge 4th, 5th, Sean Gardner. Wojciech Savidovic is going to be starting 33rd for race 2. That is going to be a charge through the field. We'll be watching with interest as well.
Yeah, and we can see all the action coming your way after the break here on the iRacing Esports Network when the penultimate round of the ARL TCR Winter Series continues.
To the front bumper, and he hits him again now. Rayon Fowler into the outside wall.
Gonna pass nearly 3 cars down that front straight. and he's going to get them all done with. What amazing.
Race lead to the inside goes Logan Cloudman is going to touch in. Pit press sideways. What a save.
Look to the outside as Trunkgate goes off. De Jong into second place.
Going for the switchback. Oh, pinpoint driving.
It's howling down to the inside.
He's trying this contact though.
Slide left to the racetrack. Chris Renner drives it back down underneath, and he takes that second spot right back. Joker goes to Garrett Lowe.
Garrett Lowe should take victory with all that contact.
He's going to try and make the move around the outside the parabolica. That's not going to work, but he's going to try and get the cut back here. Get the run out the parabolica. That's beautifully done there. Michael Schubert, there's a little bit of door banging as well.
Just 2 rounds to go in the ARL TCR Winter Series here on the iRacing Esports Network. And Daytona International Speedway will once again be alive with the sound of the Audi RS3s as they go to battle once more. This time in a reverse grid race. And with only 2 rounds to go, Adam Bath, this is going to be absolutely terrifying, I reckon. Because the drivers are really... Some of them are going to be trying to preserve positions and some are really going to be going for it.
Yeah, I'm really intrigued to see what this second race has to offer. We've got cars starting at the back of the grid as well, and we'll be able to bring you through that grid as well. And let's run you through it. Jake Blackwell starting on the pole. Second, Scott Malcolm. Then it's Rich Warmingham, Lee Berridge. Then Sean Gardner, Lars Van Ryn, Simon Field. Then Pete Newman, Kip Stevens, and Paul Smith starting in 10th. 11th, Michael Blake. 12th, Michael Hall. 13th place on the grid is Alex Neller. Then we've got Sven Glatzel, who lost a few positions late on. Then it's Ross Balfour, John Roberts, then Adam Hedgecock. There's a plane over there. Then Adam Hedgecock, 17th, David Von Brecken, 18th, 19th, George Simmons, and 20th, Jamie Rushworth. 21st on the grid, Christian Rose, then Adam Hadfield, 22nd, Pete Harrod in 23rd, and Ben Palmer, one of the big movers in race 1, starting in 24th place. 25th, Jason Cooper, then Ross McFarlane, Nicole Foggy, then Alex Simpson, then Jack Sedgwick, the race 1 winner in 29th. Then Andrew Whitehead, starting towards the back of the grid. I thought he got put on the pole. Then Martin Sampson, then Rob Graham, there's Wojciech Savidovic, he's starting in 33rd, and he'll be alongside Mark Woodhouse. Cars making their way around then, getting set for the second race of the day. Championship points were updated. Yes, they were at the end of race 1, and it has resulted in Jack Sedgwick now leading the way in the points. He leads the points by just 3 over Wojciech Savidovic, and if he has a good race in this one, he could head into race 3 with a very slender championship lead. And who would have thought that after at the start of the evening? Now these guys at the front, the likes of Malcolm, Warmingham, Berridge, Garner, Van Ryn, Stevens, Smith, Blake, they all have to worry about their Pro-Am Championship too. As a safety car peels into the pit lane, we're getting set for race 2, the penultimate round of the season to get underway. The green lights are on. Jake Blackwell gets the racing underway here at Daytona. And he's going to lead into the first corner quite comfortably. Got a very good jump on the field. What about Scott Malcolm? Can he keep second place? He just about might be able to. He's 2 wide behind him. There's Warmingham and Berridge squabble over that final spot on the podium. And it looks like for the most part, everybody has got through the first corner without incident. A few cars going off the circuit and everybody trying to make their way through the hairpin now. A few bits of 2 wide in some places and everybody trying to give each other a bit of space, but you can see there's a bit of 3 wide on the exit as Sven Glatzel trying to make his way up the order, and he's going to get past there. He's going to get passed by a few other cars because he's struggling. He's dropping down the order. Hard on the brakes then, going onto the banking, and looking here at Ross McFarlane, who is in 25th place. He had a solid race 1, obviously because the reverse grid is starting at the back, and in front of him, he has got Christian Rose, Alex Simpson, who's had a good start. He's gained 5 places. Wojciech Savidovic has gained 4. So the championship leader, or former championship leader, trying to get some places back. Jack Sedgwick is in 26th place. So that is going to be something to watch out for. 3 wide going into the bus stop chicane. As Rushworth, Palmer and Hadfield all duke it out, going through the chicane and back onto the banking they go. And now we're looking at a bit of slipstreaming, a bit of bump drafting as well, as we come round to complete the first lap. And it's going to be Jake Blackwell that leads by around half a second over the Smart Time Simortal car off Scott Malcolm. Pete Newman and Rich Warmingham's going to be a dead heat over the line. And then it's Lee Berridge, Lars Van Ryn, Michael Blake. And look at that, so struggling so much to make it into turn 1, but they all just about make it. Pete Newman for Knight Rider Motorsports. It's a KRM 1-3 at the moment. That'll do their team's championship some good. Looking here at the fight between Michael Blake, Lee Berridge and Lars Van Ryn. Michael Blake was leading the Pro-Am category at one point in race 1. He ended up finishing towards the rear, but look at this. Ross Balfour, a man on a mission. He was leading in race 1 before getting hit by Wojciech Savidovic and George Simmons. He was really an innocent bystander in all that. Oh, there's sideways goes one of the Automet cars, 55. That's Kip Stevens. He's always in the thick of the action, is Kip. He's got car 26 right behind him. That is John Roberts. Those two know each other well. You don't really want to be winding up John Roberts here today.
No.
You won't have the patience, that's for sure. Miss Woodhouse is back.
Hello, I got disconnected, I'm afraid, so apologies for that. I don't know what happened. It's been very, very windy here, so I don't know if something's just gone a bit wrong. But Adam Hedgecock, we saw going up the track, almost taking out Alex Neller, actually. I wonder if that was one of those one-handed driving moments that he was referring to earlier on. But it's a great start for KRM, isn't it? First and second. Oh, and off over the grass goes Field, and Hedgecock's in the field.
Oh, no. Hope you took both hands off of that.
Roberts into the SimSport car, and there's Hedgecock. He's buried in the tyre wall.
Well, I think fortunately for him, if he has no force feedback, then that would not have hurt at all. Hopefully, anyway. As looking at John Roberts.
Direct drive wheel or something. Although even that will have, if it's no force feedback, should be okay. Here's Simmons pushing on Roberts. These guys are trying to two-car tango it to the front of this little pack. But it's Palmer and Rushworth who are making the best use of it, it looks like. Trying to go around the outside, although they just might have nudged. They're trying to get past Kip Stevens, which won't be too easy. He's trying to defend his AM category championship lead.
Did you hear the
21 points?
Did you hear the state of play in the Pro Championship about how?
Yeah, 3 points.
And there is Jack Sedgwick. That's the first time we've seen him today, pretty much. He's gained 12 places. He's up to 17. He's a man on a mission here. He's trying to gain as many points as he can. It's Alex Simpson. He's off.
So yeah, Simpson off and in a bit of strife then. Don't know if he has any damage, but we'll find out later on, I guess. Sedgwick, this is big for him, Adam. He needs to be careful as he bashes wheels with John Roberts. Needs to be careful, does Sedgwick, because he's got this advantage now. He does not want to throw it away.
Now, if he's able to get a solid finish here, he'll be able to increase that 3-point advantage by a little bit. But he'll still have to make sure that he finishes ahead of Wojciech in that final race to definitely make sure of being the ARL TCR champion. Problem for Scott Malcolm. Oh no,
big problem.
Buried in the tyres. It's
stuck. I think he's stuck, Adam. He's underneath it.
Yeah, he's buried, literally.
I think the front wheels are off the floor, and that's no good because it's a front-wheel drive car, of course.
Right, here we go. Here's a replay. Turns in. Oh, there's a bump there.
Oh. Yeah, it's kind of ended up in a bit of a recession on the land there, and I think the front wheels aren't going anywhere. Newman versus Warmingham then over the line for P2. Newman on the inside, Warmingham on the outside for XVR. Warmingham's going to try that big long way around, which we've seen work a couple of times here tonight. Not a lot of grip on the apex of that corner, though.
Great chance of KRO of getting a 1-2 here with Blake Cool and with Blackpool and Newman at the front.
There is Michael Blake in fourth.
Ooh.
Oh, a little contact between Balfour and Van Ryn.
Yeah, Ross Balfour, he wants to make amends for what happened in race 1 where he was at the front and then he had 2 Apex cars slide into the path of him.
Just looking at the state of play then in the overall standings, 8 places separate Jack Sedgwick and Wojciech Savidovic. So as it stands, Sedgwick would increase his lead. Savidovic probably needs to get somewhat of a move on here, you would think. It says Alex Simpson's crashed, so could be the end of the day for Former Road Pro Series champ.
Took Wojciech, he was one of the drivers that took Wojciech Svidovic to the final round of the season a couple of years ago. That was in the Kia Optima.
Where's Nicole Foggy lying at the moment? 20th place. Just set the fastest Sector 1 of the race, though. He's one of the few who can still challenge for this one. Him and Jason Cooper really are the only two who are close enough, I think, to be realistically in this battle still. There's a lock-up in front, I think it was by Roberts.
See the speed that Foggy was able to take into that bus top chicane.
Well, it's just heading into the time of the race, isn't it, where he can usually get the most out of the tyres here, Foggy. He's trying to pull out and maybe get some of that side draft. A little bit of the side draft.
Oh. No. Well, he tries, but then he hits the rev limiter.
Might still be the fastest lap, though. Let's see. Well, not quite. Oh, he really throws it into the braking. Excuse me. He throws it into the braking zone.
Breathing in the fumes there. Guy, it's like fish gasping for water. Oh, what's happened?
No, that was
That's Wojciech Svidovic diving up the inside. That is what it is.
Fowling getting two wheels on the grass, very nearly crashing in front of the remainder of this pack. Yes, Svidovic up to 20th. Cedric is 12th. So they're both making their way through at a similar rate.
Yeah, 20 places gained, 17 places gained for Jack Cedric. 13 places gained for Wojciech Svidovic.
Oh, have that, bang!
Cars everywhere.
Stevens just giving, if he didn't have a bad back before John Roberts, he might have one now. Oh, and they're all coming. Oh, they're different angles and different speeds, and there goes Sven Glatzel.
They're wrecking on the bank.
Into the wall.
Well, it hadn't been a good race too for Sven Glatzel, and I think that's just compounded it, really.
Yeah, not turned out well. I don't have a clue what Stevens and Roberts were doing. I don't know what Stevens was doing, given the fact that he's got a championship to contend for, really. He needs to stay away from things like that. It's the man who's won titles before. That's helped out Wojciech Svidovic, of course, Adam. That's up to 17th now.
Yeah, there's only 1, 2, 3, 5 positions between Svidovic and Cedric on the track. So if Cedric finishes where he is right now, he's not going to be increasing the points lead by too much, as we get a very nice view of the inside of Rushworth's car.
It's the proof that iRacing model absolutely everything in these TCR cars. Oh, look at this! Look at this! Look at this! Can he keep it though? No, he can't quite. He got one though. Or has he? Because Rushworth is still there. Jamie Rushworth in the CQR car. He's trying to go around the outside of Cedric. Oh, slight tap. Rushworth almost drifts around that hairpin.
Paul Smith sending it in there into that hairpin, and it resulted in a bit of a concertina effect going on there.
Bit of argy-bargy going on out on the track today.
Well, you're right there. Oh, Cedric got the inside.
There's all sorts of different braking points, and this is where it can get very, very difficult indeed. We saw that in the first round, didn't we, with what happened to Wojciech Svidovic. Smith up the inside of Cedric.
He's trying to force him wide.
Up the inside goes the SimSport car. That's Palmer. It's Palmer into Smith.
Yeah, I think Jack Cedric is trying to get out of this for his own good, because Paul Smith looks up for the fight today, definitely.
My word. Ben Palmer's no mug as well. He won't be easily passed around the outside, that's for sure.
He was the biggest mover in race 1, and he's gained 14 places again in race 2 as Ben Palmer. Turns in.
Palmer's sideways into the chicane. Oh wow, he's nearly out of control there. But somehow.
I would not have done what Jack Cedric did. There was just power around the outside of Ben Palmer and somehow make the corner.
Adam Hadfield trying to shove his way past Paul Smith as well. There's George Simmons, number 63. Behind them is Svidovic and Foggy. I think they're working together, actually, Adam, to try and get to this group. They know there's many places afoot. What's going on between Cedric and Palmer then? It looks very close. Cedric's very late on the brakes. Palmer brave to take that wide line, knowing cars were charging into the apex behind. It's George Simmons thinking, you can see him on the outside. This is for the ARL TCR Winter Series Championship. It's been a great season so far, the first one in the Audi TCR.
Yeah, started back in September, October time. Yeah, beating for an £1,100 prize pool. They'll be split between the pro drivers, the pro-am drivers, the teams, pro-am and the the pro and the pro-am teams as well.
Yes, sorry, yes, £1,100, sorry, not dollars, yeah. Which I said earlier on, so apologies for that. But yeah, here's Wojciech Svidovic then. 5-time champ, reigning champ, as you can tell by the number 1 on the graphic and on the car.
But will he be heading into the next season with that number 1 on the door?
He needs to get on with it now, though, if he wants to do anything. I don't think he can give Jack 7 places head start. Well, the thing is, to be fair, he'll be 7 places ahead of Cedric in the next round if the reverse grid is kind, but I don't know. It's one of them, isn't it, Adam? I know he won't intentionally be giving the points up here, but does he give the points up now and try to make them up later in round 3?
Well, with the reverse
grid,
grid,
them back now. What would you do?
Well, with the reverse grid, you're in the lap of the gods, aren't you? Really, when it comes to that drop.
It's the same with Jack Sedgwick. Does he go forward and try and win this race?
Well,
or does he just sit there and get a better reverse grid, knowing that he'll have to fight his way through further? It's very, very difficult.
Well, I read Andy Prio's book, and he would always reiterate, go for the points. Don't try and do maths about trying to finish in any particular place. Just try and get as many points as you can up the inside.
Oh wow!
Goes.
Look at Sean Gardner trying to go around the outside as well. Well, that actually makes sense. Get the points on the board, get them banked, because you never know what's going to happen in the next race. Don't even know what's going to happen in this race. Look at it. We're on board with Wojciech Svidovic. 5 BSR TC championships.
Trying to become the maiden champion of the ARL TCR since the name was changed this season.
Just to confuse everyone even more, the lineage and the history of this title continues with this series. So it will be 6 titles for Svidovic if he takes this one.
It's very close for the race lead as well. Just a couple of hundredths of a second in it.
Poor old Dave Baker and Ash Sutton as well, not being able to take part today. They would have had a fighting chance of the championship. They struggled a bit last week, but they still had a small chance. But it was taken away from them, of course, by not starting.
Right, it was very close going into the bus stop chicane. Blackwell had a good chicane, so has now been able to get a gap, but it's coming back down again. We're looking out at the rear of Pete Newman's car. He's getting a nice push by Michael Blake, and there you go. There's the red limiter.
And very, very important goings on as well in the AM category, because David Van Broek has got ahead of Kip Stevens. So he'll be gaining points on him. It's currently 21 points. That is coming down. It's also coming down in the corner of Paul Smith, who's ahead of these guys. Michael Blake's ahead of everybody in the AM category, apart from Richard Warmingham. And Warmingham's now down, and Blake's now got ahead of him. Off! Balfour and Newman.
Oh, that's a real shame.
Pete Newman.
He's buried in the arm car. He's going to get out, fortunately for him, but the dream of the 1-2 for Knight Rider Motorsports has been truly extinguished. It's Blackhorn, then Blake, then Balfour. It's a triple B at the front of the field.
Yeah, and let's see it then into the right-hander. Oh, Michael Blake comes from a long way back into Newman, into Warmingham, and then quarter panel on Balfour. I don't think Balfour, I can't imagine he saw Newman on his outside. If he did, it was clumsy, but I don't reckon he will have done.
Moves Jack Sedgwick up a few more places. He's up to 5th now. Moves Wojciech Savidovic up a few more places as well. He's up to P11. But
obviously you get a bigger spread of points the higher up you go. So you might have a few extra points for Sedgwick now.
Blake is now top of the top of the Pro-Am tree, and then it's Warmingham second with Van Rijn in 3rd in that.
I do feel that the stewards might have something to say about that for Michael Blake though, because he did go in pretty hot and start that whole chain of events off.
Pete Newman down to 6th place as a result of all that.
Savidovic has got ahead of Smith. Sedgwick's still ahead of Palmer then. Sedgwick can't be far behind this little...
And there he is.
Group. There he is, yeah.
Fastest lap of the race as well. Because of Warmingham's involvement in the mess at the hairpin, Sedgwick was a good 5 seconds quicker than Warmingham on that last lap.
Amazing stuff, really.
Chance of the bubbly for Sedgwick here in race 2.
We've had an issue for Martin Sampson. He's dropped down. Don't exactly know what's happened, but we'll stick with the leaders. Oh, there he is. We just saw the end of it.
He was on the bank in there. I think that was just before the pit lane.
Here comes Jack Sedgwick then. He wants those extra positions. He wants, as Andy Prio said, to bank those points. Get them in the bag. Because you never know. He's lost it.
God.
Oh, my goodness. Well, he's only going to lose 1 place, Jack Sedgwick. But that was a heart-in-mouth moment.
Now, is that the chance at a podium?
2 places. 2 places between him and Savidovic.
Butterfly effect. I wonder if that small little slide could set up a chain reaction. It doesn't look like it will have too much of an impact, though, as he goes straight back up the inside of Palmer into the bus stop chicane. He will get 1 more lap if he wants to try and get into 3rd position. There is...
Oh, contact!
Rushworth.
That's Rushworth and Van Rijn. That's more places for Smith, maybe. Smith looking for the AM title.
Who's that following him through?
Hadfield.
The Diamond. In flying formation here.
What's going to happen here into turn 1? Who's going to be bravest?
On the brakes they go. That's Rushworth, the former champion.
Oh, Smith sends it. Rushworth blocks him off. Smith's going to lose momentum. Might lose 2 more places here, actually. Might lose out to Lars Van Rijn.
Wojciech Savidovic up the inside of Palmer, and the Sim Sports Racing USA car reluctantly accepts his proposal there.
Oh,
buy him out, boys, as they go for the left-hander. Hopefully you got that into the hairpin.
Well, this is Savidovic, Simmons. Oh, Foggy and Hall getting together. And that's another blow to Foggy's title aspirations, slim as they were. It's not going to help him. 59 points behind he was by the end of the last race. But here we go, Adam. It's just the banking, the bus stop, and a bit more banking to go for Jake Blackall. Can he keep it, though? Michael Blake's right on him.
I know, yeah, I think he could. This could be an interesting finish, actually, because we've still got the bus stop chicane to go. As Blackall
having a look.
Fuel concerns at all, because he lost a lot of ground there.
Could this be 2015 all over again? We thought for a second into the bus stop. But here comes Jake Blackall of Australia. He had some terrible luck in these touring car races. Is it going to be his lucky day today? Michael Blake's right there for Smile Time Simoto. He blocks the highlight. He comes down and they make contact on before the tri-oval. Can't believe it. Is he going to take it, Blackall? He is. Contact on the tri-oval on the last lap. Well, not quite on the tri-oval, but a little straight before it.
Well, what's the saying? Checkers all records. For Blackall. God, I'm speechless after that.
I think it all came from. I think Blackhall misjudged that one, you know.
Well, he
'Cause
already moved. Yeah,
he
already
went
moved.
up to the top, realized, oh God, he's going too quickly, and then he tried to chop down to the inside, and the car was there already. I think you've got to put that one on Blackhall, but you've also got to put, and this is crucial, you've also got to put that earlier incident on Michael Blake as well. So you can't really give either of them in my opinion. But who knows? I mean, it's in a racing incident. The stewards are going to have to decide. Could it
well,
be
what a
Ross
mess.
Balfour that ends up taking it?
Well, what a mess for Michael Blake, because that was some really precious pro-am points that were on the line there, and now he's finished in 29th place.
Wow, that's crazy. Absolutely crazy that he didn't get to the end here.
Jack Sedgwick in the end ended up taking a podium out of all that. Adam Hedgecock, there he is. He comes around in 30th place. It's Blackhall, Balfour, Sedgwick, the top three. Warming and Palmer and Savidovic in 6th place there, and then Simmons, Hall, Rushworth, and Fockey completing the top 10. What a finish! I think we might need to see another replay of that.
Well, that is going to be some of the sweetest tasting bubbly of Jack Sedgwick's sim racing career, I think, because that was from 29th on the grid. That was a brilliant race. Really well judged race from him. And but yeah, it'd be good to see this replay. I reckon, Adam, well, this is the first one. This is Blake coming in, hitting Newman. Newman goes into Balfour, and then they take out Warmingham at the same time. And this is what put Balfour so far behind this battle, Adam, earlier on.
Indeed, yeah, and then rewind on another 10 minutes. Or fast forward on, I should say. Another 10 minutes or so.
3 or 4 laps after that, isn't it? When the actual accident happens. And this is it then, Adam, and see what you can see on this one.
Well, we're going to start by going on to the banking here, it looks like. And Michael Blake's car looked exceptionally quick. It didn't look like he was going to gain that much time, did he? And then all of a sudden, it went from 2 tenths down to nothing within a couple of corners.
Oh, yeah.
So here we are. We're going through NASCAR turn 2 here onto the back straight. He's already closing in here. Hope this is the final lap. I think it is.
Yeah, it is. So you have that little look. I think Jake kind of almost panicked here. Because he goes up high at the exit of 4 here. NASCAR turn 4, that is. And then he realises, he tries to go up high, and then realises, oh crap, he's there already. Comes down, bang.
Oh,
That's what I think.
nothing
anyway.
on Blake there, I think.
I don't think there's a great deal he could have done that time, to be honest.
Bleed the engine as well.
So
Well,
there's
then.
one that Blake, one that Blake was probably at fault for, and then the other that he probably wasn't. But here's the provisional result, at least.
Well, Jake Blackhall from Australia takes the victory. Second, Ross Balfour. Third for Jack Sedgwick. I'm looking to see if the points have been updated. We'll bring you them hopefully before we go off for a break. Rich Warmingham finishes in 4th. He is the top Pro-Am driver. He was 124 points off Kip Stevens going into race 2, so I wonder if that would have done too much for him. Ben Palmer in 5th. He managed to get back past Wojciech Savidovic in the end, because the last time we saw those two, it was the Apex Racing Team car trying to get by. George Simmons in 7th, Michael Hall 8th, 9th Jamie Rushworth, and 10th the Scotsman Nicole Foggy. 11th Adam Hadfield, 12th for Paul Smith. He lost a few places towards the end, but after the untimely demise of Michael Blake, Paul Smith finishes as the second highest Pro-Am driver. Lars Van Ryn finishes in 13th, then Pete Harrod 14th. Just 1,000th of a second ahead of David Von Breck. I do read that right. Lee Berridge in 16th, then Ross McFarlane there in 17th, Sean Gardner in 18th place. Alex Neller 19th, 20th for Jason Cooper. And then it's Kip Stevens there, he is in 21st place, the Pro-Am Championship leader. going into this penultimate race meeting. Penultimate race, I should say. Alex Simpson there in 22nd. He had issues at the start. Then a big gap back to Christian Rose. Then Mark Woodhouse, Pete Newman, Andrew Whitehead, Simon Field, Rob Graham, Adam Hedgecock there. He was buried in the tyres earlier, so I'm not sure I managed to get out of that one. And then the cars that had issues. Michael Blake, even though he could have got the win, he might have a chance of being at the front for race 3, the final round of the season. Scott Malcolm, his teammate, down there 1 lap down. Martin Sampson also a lap down. And then John Roberts 2 laps down. He'll be starting at the back for race 3. And Sven Glatzel will be joining him there. He, excuse me, finishes in 34th, 6 laps down. So it's the points have been updated. But before we get into that, it's time for the final reverse grid of the season. So let's get Sam Kumo in here one last time to spin the wheel for us.
Right, final spin of the season. Let's see what we get for the final race under the lights. It's gonna be a long spin, but eventually we will get there, and I think this might be a good one. Yes, it is 40.
Well, I'll default to 32. And that may default. Which means Martin Sampson starts on pole position for the final round of the season. Scott Malcolm 2nd, Michael Blake in 3rd. That might be interesting for him. Adam Hedgecock 4th, and Rob Graham in 5th. The points have been updated, and for going into the final round of the season, it means that Jack Sedgwick leads Wojciech Savidovic by just 9 points. So a few positions here or there could decide the title. It almost certainly will be one of those two, as Nicole Foggy is 71 points behind Jack Sedgwick, and Jason Cooper is a few points behind him. Kip Stevens in the Pro-Am Championship, though, he's only got a 15-point advantage over David Von Breck now. He'll be looking over his shoulder big time going into that final round. So it's almost as close as what we had 5 years ago here at Daytona.
Well, how is this one going to get resolved? We're going to find out when we come back here on the iRacing Esports Network. I'm just looking at these points, and I think it's going to be a tremendous finale. Join us after the break for it from Daytona International Speedway.
To the front bumper, and he hits him again now. Ray Alfala into the outside wall.
He's gonna pass nearly 3 cars down that front straightaway, and he's gonna get them all done with. What amazing
Race lead to the inside goes Logan Cloudman is gonna touch in. Pit press sideways. What a save!
Look to the outside as Trunke goes off. De Jong into second place.
Going for the switchback. Oh, pinpoint driving.
Is howling down to the inside.
I trying, there's contact though.
Slide left of the racetrack. Chris Venner drives it back down underneath, and he takes that second spot right back. Joker goes to Garrett Lowe.
Garrett Lowe should take victory with all that contact. He's going to try and make the move around the outside the parabolica. That's not going to work, but he's going to try and get the cut back here. Get the run out the parabolica. That's beautifully done there. Michael Schubert, there's a little bit of door banging as well.
And we're back at Daytona for the final round of the season in the ARL TCR Winter Series, and it couldn't be more finely poised, really. Just 9 points separate Jack Sedgwick and Wojciech Savidovic in the standings going into the final race of the season. There will be a winner at the end of this one, but which of the Apex Racing team cars will it be? Jack Sedgwick has had a mighty season. He's won 8 races this season. No driver has won more than him this season. Not even Ash Sutton, who managed to pick up 8 wins as well. So, actually, no, he didn't pick up 8 wins. He only picked up 1. So scrap that. Wojciech Savidovic in second, though, has come into form at the right time. But race 1 did not help him at all. Ross McFarlane went into the back of his teammate Simmons, and Simmons couldn't do anything aside from sliding into his teammate and knocking him down the order. But here we are.
Let's not discount the AM category as well. Only 15 points between Stevens and Van Broek. Smith is third, 38 behind, and Blake is fourth, 61 behind. He's probably out of it, but at least Stevens, Van Broek, and Smith really stand a good chance. Apex Racing look like they've wrapped up the pro team standings, and Smile Time Simortal should be the AM champions as well.
Here we go then. Under the lights as well.
The classic finale of the Thursday Night League. And then it's new guys with a new car. This is the end of the beginning. In comes the pace car then. And here on the iRacing Esports Network, for the final time this season, the green light is on. The flag flies at Daytona. Great start by Martin Sampson. It's an absolutely brilliant jump away from the line. Michael Blake in P2. Rob Graham slots in just behind. Hedgecock and Malcolm. We're side by side coming through this S's section, which is very narrow with that concrete wall on the left-hand side. Everyone survived the first couple of corners. Can they survive the hairpin?
It's good to see because, of course, with it being at night, it's slightly cooler conditions. There is the reigning champion, Wojciech Savidovic. He's in 30th, hasn't had the best of starts.
No.
Jack Sedgwick, on the other hand, has gained 4 places, so he's up to 26.
Yeah, that's not what Savidovic wanted, but that is brilliant for Jack Sedgwick. We know how he can move up through the field, and he locks up, but there's off. Nicole Foggy having all sorts of problems, and they're Balfour and Hall getting into one another. And Savidovic is right on Sedgwick now, right on him.
Problems for Jake Blackhall already. He's had to retire back to the pits. So
unbelievable, of course. I think Dave Baker tried to take the start as well, but I don't think he's managed it either.
Oh, wreck. It's Palmer and...
It's Jack Sedgwick, is it though?
Oh.
Palmer. I thought it was Sedgwick. The graphic came up Sedgwick. Sorry, Adam. Jeez.
Ben Palmer gets cut. I was like, I'll tell myself. Into the bus stop chicane we go.
Oh, there goes Adam Hedgecock.
Into the same corner.
The same place.
Yeah. Oh dear. That wrist.
Ah.
Right, that scene out of Harry Potter in the end. Dear me. Onto the.
Get out of the. He's gonna. Oh God. He's gonna try and get back to the.
Yeah, that tarmac runoff area does stop. I think in the end he's gonna have to bounce across the infield to try and get back on here.
He's gonna need a lot more than Gilderoy Lockhart to fix this race for him. Sadly.
Oh, listen to the rev limiters as they come across the line.
Yeah, it's normally listen to the engine sounds. No, listen to the rev limiters. Here's Alex Simpson on Andrew Whitehead into turn 1. He gets that one done. Nice play there. Oh, that's Martin Sampson going slowly. What's happened? Oh, contact, and they're taking Simpson as well. Oh, there's 2 or 3 more cars going in.
Traffic jam at the horseshoe.
And Mark Woodhouse, who has got back in the meeting, finishes the meeting basically where he started, and that is almost nowhere.
Wojciech Savidovic overtakes Jack Sedgwick. So,
oh my goodness.
So Savidovic is up to 14. You can see it. There you are. There's the red and the blue.
See the body language of that car. It just looks aggressive in this race for Wojciech Savidovic. Sedgwick needs to defend. He needs to be the one to try to wrestle this title away. It's been in the grasp of Wojciech Svidovic for the last 4 seasons, is it?
Won it in 2016,
Although,
17, 18 and 19.
I suppose we've had a couple of Winter Series champions as well, haven't we?
Here comes Jack Sedgwick. He's going to try and get past his championship rival. He's just going to push him for good measure, I think. Into the bus stop chicane, there you go. They've also got their teammate George Simmons there for company off.
Oh, that's Rob Graham.
John Roberts has got back to the pits, no pun intended. And that could be a season over and done with.
He'll be wanting to see the back of this one.
Over the line and to complete the second lap, and it's the Pro-Am leader leading the way.
Sorry, that was a bit of a spineless joke, that wasn't it?
Oh no. Oh, Pete Newman though, he takes the lead back. He could have won race 2 if it wasn't for some Michael Blake causing an incident at the hairpin, and now Pete Newman leads the way.
Yeah, and we're looking at Scott Malcolm there, trying to defend from Simon Field. Field up the inside. Former championship contender in this series, Simon Field. Back in 2015, he was up there in the championship contention. Until really, it fell around about Monza, didn't it? 2 or 3 meetings from the end. But up until that point, he was well in charge of the proceedings, and it's definitely improving in this Audi Field. Sort of fair sabbatical. David Van Broek, though. Now this is big for the AM Championship, isn't it? Because Van Broek is in 6th, Stevens is in 16th, and Van Broek is only 15 points behind. He'll need that support from Alex Neller to protect him from attack from behind.
Well, I don't think we need it, but I have got the point sheet to hand, so I can do some maths as the race goes on, because I think we might need it. Some sums, yes. Now, if the checker flag were to fly now, if Wojciech Svidovic would finish in 10th and would get 78 points, Cedric would get 77. So he'd only gain 1 point back on his championship rival with Wojciech here.
Yeah, and that's not enough, of course, for him. Jack Sedgwick, all he needs to do is stick with Wojciech Svidovic, and he will be a champion, the first ever, the inaugural ARL TCR Winter Series champion.
Now, if Wojciech was to get his head down and leave Sedgwick in 11th, he'd have to get up as high as at least 5th if he was to change the title back in his favour.
And I don't see Sedgwick staying in 11th place, I really don't. Not with the pace that he's shown this evening, sorry. Of course, it is the afternoon for those of you watching in the United States, so welcome. Svidovic is trying to put cars between he and Sedgwick, almost crashing into the back of Pete Harrod. Oh, and Kip Stevens is in trouble, and he's going down the order with Nicole Foggy. Oh, and there goes Alex Simpson into the wall. And Foggy has come together with him as well, so Stevens down to 19. Van Broek might be in championship position, and I think he is. And this is Svidovic getting past a former champion in Rushworth, or trying to at least.
Trying to go around the outside here. Doesn't want to get hung out to dry. There should be enough room for both of them. May even open himself up to attack from Sedgwick.
Oh!
Now, yeah,
wow.
The wall was waiting for them with open arms on the exit there of that left-hander.
We saw in race 2 how that can happen.
And now Sedgwick is...
Nudgy, that's smart by Sedgwick. He's trying to manufacture a gap to slide up in front of Wojciech Svidovic. Oh, I can't look almost.
The inside into the chicane.
Sedgwick is through.
And he's through, yeah.
And I'll tell you what, he guarantees the title if he finishes there. Guarantees it. Anywhere ahead of Svidovic is perfect.
Now they've got to try and get past these guys, and they're not going to be easy to get past either, because these guys have proven their pace throughout this season. David Van Breck's gained 12 places in this race.
Incidentally, the only other man who I think could... What's the maximum points available in the race?
10 a second.
I forget with like fastest lap with like other bonus points and everything. Because Jason Cooper was 84 points behind. I think technically he's still in contention, but barely. Now,
Doesn't look like.
Sorry.
It doesn't look like, as far as I'm aware, there's bonus points anymore. I don't think so anyway.
There you go.
All I can see in the rule book are points for the showdown, basically, like the podium credits at the beginning.
Fair enough.
I think it helps with our spreadsheet anyway.
Now, it's getting all a bit tasty in there. And Sedgwick has got a car between he and Wojciech Svidovic, which could be crucial for the championship. It really could. He's now working on Alex Neller, is Jack Sedgwick. We spoke with Neller last week. He wasn't too happy with his driving at Belle Isle, but he's not really had much of a chance to shine here tonight. But looking to finish in the top 10 for Boosted. Sedgwick up the inside into the bus stop. And he's clear. That's 2 cars between now. It's looking ever increasingly good for car 2, driven by Jack Sedgwick of Apex Racing Team.
Now he's got Jamie Rushworth in front of him, but Rushworth, he wants to get past Scott Malcolm. And he's right on the boot lid of that Small Time Immortal car. He's going to try and duck to the outside, is he? Sedgwick's arriving at a fair rate of knots too.
Scott Malcolm's had a having a good run in P6. Incidentally, Dave Baker did get going in this race. He's done 3 laps, but no more. Former champion, was in contention for the title, but it's not going to be the case for him today. Svidovic getting into it with SimSport USA car. That is Pete Harrod. Alex Neller has got past Scott Malcolm now, and he throws it up inside of Sedgwick into the hairpin. Actually recovers the place back, Adam, from Jack Sedgwick, at least momentarily. This is when it gets a bit tight and a bit difficult for these guys, doesn't it?
Yeah, the infield section is something they've really got to keep their eye out for, especially turn 1.
You can tell as well that Svidovic is getting a little frustrated in there. See, he's trying to sort of slide the car around, looking for any possible opportunity that he can. Jack Sedgwick driving away from him now, 3 cars between them. You've got no mugs in that front group, though. The 6 in front of Sedgwick. Where does Sedgwick have to finish as a guaranteed position if he finishes there? So it may not matter what Wojciech Svidovic does in the end.
I will work that out for you in a second. Here's the fight for the lead.
So Pete Newman defending from Christian Rose. Rose has had a good run. It's not been the best meeting for him. Definitely a good run. It's been a good meeting for pace, at least in terms of Michael Blake, but results haven't been the strong suit. Especially considering the battle at the end of race 2, where you could say he was cruelly denied second place, but had earlier caused the demise of Pete Newman himself, actually, that is. And he's trying around the outside here. Oh, sliding is... oh, my word. Roberts going wide.
That's Van Broek. Oh, no. That's the Pro-Am Championship, surely in smoke for him.
Oh, I'm so used to looking at the green. Sorry, the green on the boosted car and thinking of John Roberts there.
Oh, I was just about
to
report to you that he was on course for the Pro-Am title.
He's not anymore.
No.
He's not anymore. It could be going the way of Kip Stevens, because Paul Smith isn't going well either. He's down in 24th. Van Broek had done all the work. He needs to do it all again. Just 7.5 minutes. This is Smith as well we're looking at. It's got Rob Graham in front of him. He needs to get a move on, does the Yorkshireman, as Van Rijn allows Van Broek through. It's the only thing that he can do now to help his teammate. Desperate times for David Van Broek. The Belgian who's done so much this season has manufactured a great campaign. Is it going to come crashing down here tonight at Daytona? it looked like as well, the leaders, well, the championship contenders were very, very lucky that one or more of those cars didn't spear and crawl right in front of them. Oh, and Cedric misses disaster by inches. Oh, and Savinovic has made contact. He's made contact and off. Off goes the SimSport car. Oh, and he survives it, Pete Harrod. But in the matter of 10 seconds, Adam, Jack Sedgwick avoided what was certain disaster. Wojciech Savinovic saw that flash before his eyes.
Well, there was a boosted car out of control. It slid across the grass, missing Sedgwick, and then he got taken out by one of the ones. Yeah, here's a replay.
That went off. Let's have a look.
Well, Sedgwick was under the yellow line anyway. Oh my goodness me!
Oh well.
Just on the field, I mean, just about rescues it. He takes to the grass.
I mean, I wonder if. Oh, and into his own teammate Alex Neller goes Simon Field, and then 4-wide situation here for Savinovic. You almost wonder as well, Adam, could the stewards have a look at that incident?
Now,
because
the yellow line.
He was below the line. I don't know if exactly there's a rule there or not, but or whether it's just a gentleman's agreement type thing. But it's Nico Foggy's out of the race, but I think that was sort of coming, wasn't it? After the first lap. I mean, well, it's one of them. It's one of them.
Well, in terms of the Pro-Am fight, Kip Stevens' nearest challenger is Michael Blake, and a second place isn't going to do it, especially with Kip Stevens in 15th place. So right now, that championship looks like it's going to be heading to Kip, but look at this fight for the race lead.
Either way, Blake wants to go out on a high.
Cedric wants the race victory, I think. Oh,
hello.
Oh,
good. Well, Newman, well judged, you could say, in the end. Cedric's thinking, oh, wow, this is not what I need. And now Jack goes to the bottom sensibly, and I think he's going to get Christian Rose by this method.
Well, Michael Blake takes the race lead. That'll be 100 points if he wins.
Rose has got to slow down.
Looks like it, doesn't it? Oh, here comes Cedric for the race lead. Just about.
He's low again. He's very low again. They collide again and off. Off goes Newman. Oh, and flying into the air is a CQR car. And they barely miss Wojciech Savinovic as well.
Oh, and
that is Jamie Rushworth.
Oh, Cedric's off.
Cedric's off. What's happened?
Cedric's tumbling down the order.
Has he got damage? Is it the death knell for Cedric? I cannot believe what I'm seeing.
The car looks wounded.
And all the inside goes Sven Glatzel.
Oh,
it's wounded, but is it fatally wounded?
Right, now we've got to get the calculator out, because
I think the calculator's in favour of Wojciech Savinovic. We were thinking that there might possibly be a steward's inquiry, Adam, after the collision with Field. But is it now academic?
We'll give Wojciech the championship, yeah, because there's a 17-point swing between 2nd and 10th.
Now, can Cedric regroup? Can he wring some pace out of the Audi RS3? Can he get any more positions?
The car looks fine. The car looks fine now, so I wonder what happened to cause him to lose all those places. Because
I wonder if he has got steering damage though, or has he got aero damage?
Sven Glatzel goes through into 10th place.
Now, is he driving in a straight line? It looks like it.
Backing in.
Slow in a straight line though.
The true difference will be, will we see this 513 Audi in front of us start to edge away? That would be the real teller for us.
Oh, Jack, it's all unravelled. We're going to have to look at that after the race, I think, anyway, but I wonder if he was just getting too fighty when he almost didn't need to be. That's what it seemed like. Well, he had it in the bag. He was ahead of Savinovic, Adam. That's all he needed to do. He was miles ahead of him.
Oh, well, let's not forget about Pete Newman in this situation. That's his race over. He'll be gutted about that.
Yeah, he's up for another win, Pete Newman, in his career. He's had a few in the Thursday night championship.
Hall and Berridge are off. That's off at that might be
Oh, and
one
that's
of the
positions
hairpins.
for Paul Smith and Stevens. Van Broek's ahead of Stevens again.
Oh, he's up to 13th. So that's a few more points for him. He will need to get a bit higher than that because there is a 15-point difference between the two of them.
He is lapping 2 seconds a lap quicker than Kip Stevens though at the moment.
And we've got 90 seconds to go, so we might just get one more lap in.
Yeah, another lap. I think we could. My leg's twitching. I'm doing old Christian Horner leg twitch. It's so exciting, this final race. Thank you to everybody who's joining us on the iRacing Esports Network. You're witnessing a fantastic finale. And here comes Wojciech Savinovic. He's not done. He wants to finish it in style. He wants to finish it with a race victory. How is he? I know he hasn't won the title yet. Jack Sedgwick still has time, but it's running out quickly. But how has Wojciech Savinovic, from about 26th in the standings, out of about 2 weeks before the showdown started, clawed his way into a title-winning position? Sedgwick is up to 10th. He is ahead of Jason Cooper now.
Well, that reduces the points down to 8. Here comes Savinovic, though. That will increase
So
if he wins.
What? 8?
Well, I think it'll definitely change if Wojciech takes the lead, definitely. We'll see what happens as we start the last lap.
Into turn 1 then. This is where it gets a bit shaky for everyone involved. Final lap of the season here in the Winter Series at Daytona. Wojciech Savinovic up the inside on Alex Nella. Oh, and almost a quarter panel. How many times have we seen that come into fruition, the quarter panel?
The whole field is arriving on this scene, you know, so they're not out of the woods yet.
Including Simon Field. And here is Simon Field, we're on board with him.
Michael Blake going deep into that hairpin just exasperates things.
Oh my. We'll be exasperated inside the cockpit. A couple of these drivers, that's for sure. Final lap, the final charge out of the infield section and onto the banking for one more time. Just the bus stop chicane to go, Adam. And then it's the long drag to the finish line. Jack Sedgwick is still 11th. He's 2 seconds behind this pack. I don't think he's going to do it. He can only rely on a problem now for Savinovic.
Things stay the way they
Alex
are.
Miller's closing it. This is like 2015 all over again on the final lap.
Yeah. Hard on the brakes. Things stay the way they are. Wojciech will win the title by 9 points.
Michael Blake leads then out of the final chicane. Onto the banking through NASCAR turn 3. It'll then turn into 4. We saw what happened in race 2. It is not over yet. Just because they're off the banking doesn't mean that things are finished. Oh, and then bomb draft very nearly unsettled the Apex car. Coming to the line, what's going to happen? We're into the tri-oval on the final lap. Wojciech Savinovic is the champion of the 2019-2020 Apex Racing League TCR Winter Series. And my goodness, Adam, is that not one of the most amazing last races to a championship that you will ever see?
I've never known a race with more twists and turns than that. Unbelievable. Second for Alex Nella. Michael Blake in the end was pipped from first down to third. Simon Field gets fourth. Yeah, second place. Kip Stevens comes across the line in P16. David Von Breck did finish ahead of him, but with just a 2 position difference, that's not going to be enough, and it's going to be Kip Stevens that takes the Pro-Am honours here.
Unreal. Absolutely unreal. That had everything. Absolutely everything. I can't quite believe it. It was a superb final race. The driving was brilliant and hard fought. Everybody throughout the entire field gave it 110%. That is the 6th time that Wojciech Savinovic has taken the title in this Thursday night league. And to tell you what, he's extremely happy, and rightly so.
His 6th win of the season. I don't think they will have come much sweeter than that.
Jack Sedgwick, we need to have a word for him because he was tremendous all season long. He gave us unbelievable, searing pace. It just seemed that when it mattered the most, Adam, at the end, just couldn't quite get it done. Just not quite.
Well, this is all unofficial, of course, and we will bring you everything, hopefully, plus a nice post-race show as well. But here is how it finished. Wojciech Savidovic wins, and as far as our calculations go, that's him with another title in the pocket, and he starts off the decade in the best possible way, and in a new Audi as well, with a new title and a win. Alex Nella finishes in second, a fantastic finish for him. Michael Blake third, Simon Field fourth, fifth for Christian Rose, sixth for George Simmons, seventh for Adam Hadfield, eighth for Pete Harrod, ninth for Scott Malcolm, a solid finish in the end for the Smile Time Immortal Khan, and Jason Cooper in 10th. Jack Sedgwick finishes 11th. By my calculations, that's more than a 9-point swing, and it gives Wojciech Savidovic the championship by 77 points for 11th, 100 for a win. Plus the 9 gives Wojciech Savidovic the championship by 14 points. 12th for Sven Glatzel, 13th place for Richard Warmingham, the 5th highest AM driver. Then David Van Brecken 14th. He was on course to take the Pro-Am honours at one point. He really kick-started the whole chaos in the middle of the race, really. We saw him off in the tyres, then we saw Jack Sedgwick go for the lead, and we all know what happened after that. Paul Smith, he finished ahead of Kip Stevens too, but wasn't enough but it wasn't enough to put a dent in Stevens' title aspirations, because a 16th place for Kip means he takes the Pro-Am honours. 17th for Michael Hall, Lars Van Ryn in 18th, Ben Palmer 19th, Sean Gardner in 20th. Then it's Lee Berridge, Mark Woodhouse, Adam Hedgecock, then Andrew Whitehead, Martin Sampson, and then the cars that didn't finish the race. David Baker, one lap down in the end, which makes me wonder whether he did actually get out on the circuit in the end, despite the bad internet. There's Pete Newman, though, 2 laps down, involved in one of the talking points of the season, which we will have a look at a replay in a moment, because I'm intrigued to know why Jack Sedgwick lost those places. Maybe he couldn't stop the car going into the first corner. We'll soon find out. Jamie Rushworth, 2 laps down, no finish for Jamie there. He was involved in the mess at the bus stop chicane with Wojciech Savidovic at that time, which we thought meant that the title was over for him at that moment. He was 2 laps down in Rushworth, 2 laps down in 28th, and then 29th place for Nicole Foggy, Rob Graham in 30th, Alex Simpson out very early on, Ross McFarlane, his title charge unravelled really there. Ross Balfour, a pity of an evening for him. It's sad to say he could have won race 1 if it wasn't for the Apex cars going into the side of him, and he had chances in race 2 and race 3, but for other bits of contact. And Jake Blackhall, after winning race 2, he finishes at the back in race 3.
Yeah, that was an astonishing finish. And out of all the ones we've seen, the 2015 one was up there and shocking in its own way. This was just the same. This had everything. You had 2 different drivers in championship winning contention. We had it in the AM category as well. I still didn't really see properly that result. I think it'll go to Kip Stevens, but that's the one, and that's what it all boiled down to in the end.
Oh dear.
And that's the crash of Newman, and that's Rushworth absolutely flying through there, and that
is what happened to Sedgwick. Oh dear.
That was Simon Field. Now, can we roll that back a little bit? Can we see the going into the braking area?
I wonder if Simon Field got clattered into in the aftermath of Newman hitting the wall. Oh,
I think.
Now I'd like to see that. I'd like to see that from Field's view now.
That doesn't look brilliant from there, but the only thing I can think of from there is that maybe Jack was taking the wide line in and Simon saw the opportunity. Field was nearly taken out, so is he under control? You know what? I don't think he can slow it down. It's very difficult. It looks like the nudge he gets, right?
There we are.
So he gets hit here, and I wonder if he just hasn't spotted that braking point properly. He looks like he's wrestling with the wheel.
The man's just been hitting the side at over 200 kilometers an hour as well, and
Yeah, it's very tough. I mean, man, yeah, it's not great. Does he have any damage? Can he steer straight after that?
well, he ended up coming home in fourth place.
Yeah. Now let's see I want to see the Cedric Newman thing again, because my understanding of it is, and this is what's always been the case here, is that you can't have any part of the car over that yellow line. Is what my understanding is of that finish here. Is that fair to say? I think that's what we've always done, isn't it?
Yeah, not too sure on the official ruling. We do have drivers waiting for interval. Well, there's the black and white for you that he does have at least 2 wheels underneath the yellow line. Cedric could argue that
he was put there.
By Newman, yeah. Then they hit each other once, twice, and then third time is what sends Newman away into the wall. You're gonna watch Fields get clattered into there.
Oh, that's Field going, yeah. And then you see, I want to see this as well from Jamie Rushworth's point of view as well, because he goes absolutely flying. Oh. There he is. Oh, I shouldn't laugh really, but flying through the air.
And then watch Field come into view here. Braking. Cedric's looking in the mirror saying, please stop. But he doesn't.
Boing.
And then off. And that is what has cost Cedric the 2019-20 ARL TCR Winter Series.
That was a big
there goes
moment.
Wojciech, you just saw there, yeah.
Huge moment.
Well, we do have drivers waiting to talk to us, and where better to start than the new champion for the season. My maths were right, the points have been updated. Cedric is in second, Wojciech Savidovic is the champion by 14 points. And he was there, now he's now gone. I don't know where he's gone. I thought we were going to get him then for a quick word, but he's disappeared.
Oh, well, we might as well grab... tell you what, we'll give him a minute. We'll give him a minute and see if he wants to come back in before we bring anybody else in, because...
Oh, there he is, he's back.
There he is, because obviously we do want him to be the first one that we speak to tonight. So Adam, take it away.
Well, Wojciech Savidovic, I know you were slightly involved in the 2015 season, which Seb won, but to go through 3 races like that at Daytona, where you were leading the points and second, and then talk us through that final race, because it's resulted in you being the ARL TCR champion. Well done.
Thank you. Yeah, it's well above my expectations, to be honest with you. I did have a good pace in the showdown, but obviously not as good as Jack. He was definitely the person to beat. And yeah, it was a roller coaster today. I was in a good position coming into the final. Race 1, in the lead, and you're out. And then I had problems with my controller, so I couldn't change the gears. I had to try to connect it back again. And finally, I somehow managed to finish the race 1. Obviously, coming to race 3, Jack was in comfortable position, 9 points ahead of me. It's ahead of me in the race, and yeah, you all see what happened. It's really, I don't know what to say about that.
Well, there was a moment for you in race 3 as well, where you were in the middle, and then 2 cars came across you as well. Your championship must have come before your eyes there.
It's true, yeah. Obviously, I had to take advantage. Jack was already in front. The only chance for me to win the showdown was to win that race. And I just went for it. Sorry for the guys that were turning around, but I think everybody survived this somehow. I just, had to take advantage of the situation there.
Well, we spoke to your team principal, Alex, a few times over the course of the campaign, and how tough the regular season was for you. But you managed to make it in, was it as a wild card, and then you were able to get the points on the board and get the crucial wins to get into this situation at the final round of the season.
That's correct. Yeah, obviously last week in Bell Island that played a big role. Pretty much everyone except me had a crash, so that put me way up ahead in the lead. So that changed the game a lot. Yeah, it's just today was different again. Totally different than any other season I won in the past.
But how was the season getting to grips with the new Audi? You've driven in the Kia for so many seasons and years and been really successful in it. What was it like changing over to a new car and getting to grips with the Audi?
Yeah, it was quite tricky at the beginning. I really didn't have a pace. It took us a while to figure out what is the best setup for the car. I couldn't work it through. You know, Jack, for example, he could work out with a bit worse setup. He had a good results, but I just, you know, was qualifying in 15th, all that kind of stuff. So it's really hard to get good points from there. And it's much easier also to get involved in crashes. So that's what was happening throughout the whole, pretty much most of the main season. The wildcards obviously was quite lucky as well. Again, the wins in the reverse grid races, that's what basically put me into the showdown.
And that finish at the end there, going for the win in a photo finish drag race to the line, were you just trying to get every single position because you weren't too sure on the points that you needed to get the title over the line?
Yeah, pretty much. I wasn't too sure where Jack finished. I still don't know. I think he finished around 10th position, so if I wouldn't win that, the points would be still very, very close. I had to finish first or second, I think.
But yeah, you would have. Yeah, if you finished second, you would have lost 5 points. So yes, it still would have been. It still would have been extremely close there. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. So I actually thought lap 10 was the last lap. I was like, oh my God, it's one more lap, and it was so close coming into the. You know, I knew we could crash any second because it was very close with Alex as well, coming in from third. So. But it somehow, you know, went my way, and I just can't believe it, you know.
Andrew, anything for the champion Wojciech here?
No, just congratulations, Woj, and just a brilliant last few weeks, and that was, you know, what a way to win it. That last race was just fantastic. I know it's a bit early to think about it, but going into what's going to be the Pro Series, probably in a few weeks' time. Are you coming back? I assume you are.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, like pretty much that's all I'm doing at iRacing at the moment. Thursday night, that's my night. Have fun with the scene. You're providing great cover art, so you're always very nice to watch it back. Even, you know, sometimes for a few seasons back, it's just a.
I think you'll enjoy this one as well somehow.
yes. Ups and downs. Again, I feel gutted for Jack because he really deserved that.
Ah, yeah.
It's racing. It's kind of weird feeling that you feel a bit guilty. But I guess that's racing, you know?
He was so fast.
Yes.
And obviously going into the next season, you know, if everything stays the same, you're both absolutely on your game, and it should be a fantastic season. But what Jack's pace has done, Wojciech, is honestly, it's everyone else is going to have to get better because he's been pretty much by far the quickest person out there this time.
Oh, yeah, I agree. Yeah, we have to catch up somehow.
That's it. Just before we let you go, I'm going to celebrate with a little bit of the bubbly. And Adam, well, we were saying that, you know, how well you've done. Give us a shout out to your team and sponsors, anybody like that.
Yeah, so thanks for all the guys in the team. Like, we work really, really well throughout the season, except also a lot of help I get from Alex and George in the showdown. And both of us, good cooperation, and they were very helpful and supporting. Thank you for that. Thanks for the sponsors of the team, SDK Gaming and Simputers PC Systems. You two as well. Like, you are my best duo for the commentating. You two are my favorite. I never told you this before. So yeah, I always enjoy.
We'll take that one.
Yeah, it's always my favorite, you know, to watch the broadcast when you two are commentating. So thank you for that.
We do like the edits as well that you occasionally do.
We've just got, before we let you go, actually, we've just got Alex Simpson in here, team principal of Apex Racing Team, of course. Alex, good evening, mate.
Yeah, evening all.
Hello. What can you say about this man right here?
Just, well, what can you say? So consistent, I don't think, at the start of the season. We could quite believe where he was in terms of struggling so much with the car, generally pace and things like that, but somehow he still sits on top of that championship standings at the end of the season. It's absolutely ridiculous. The guy's a machine, just relentless, with his consistency and being able to, drag himself back to the front. And he's sort of picked his moves and done what he's needed to do. And just played is probably the wrong word, but just he didn't make it into the showdown on points. He knew he needed to do it on wins, so he kind of worked it so that he could get into that showdown. So he didn't no bonus points coming in or anything like that. And then he's just, like I say, had a really great showdown. So just phenomenal, consistent driver, and this is why we all struggled to beat him.
Just a word for Jack as well. Heartbreaking for him, but his pace certainly bodes well for the Pro Series if he does indeed stick around for that.
Honestly, I'm really gutted for Jack. I don't think anybody in this series will say anything other than Jack was the fastest driver in this league by a fair margin this season. And I'm really happy for Wojciech, of course. But of course, we're a bit somber in our channel because of how it kind of went down. So we're a bit kind of gutted for that. I think if it had been a straight-on fight between them, and and they'd Wojciech won it, we'd have been absolutely or Jack had won it, we'd have been absolutely going nuts. But like I say, poor old Ben Palmer come in to our channel earlier, and it was like the tumbleweed in the channel. It was like, oh my God, what channel have I come into here? So sorry, Ben, but no. But I mean, we are, like I say, it's just a bit gutting that last little bit. But honestly, we're so happy with how the season's gone overall. We were talking I think we struggled on the first few rounds. We were way down in teams championship and things like that, and a lot of us really just not performing. So we've really swapped it up, and I think in part, and I'll give them a shout out as well. That goes to Foggy, because Foggy and Brandon at the start of the season, they just had something. And we were constantly scratching our heads, looking to try and match their pace and things like that. And it wasn't until probably halfway through where it really started to click for us. So, we appreciate being pushed like that. And to come away with the Showdown team win and 1-2 in the Drivers' Championship. I'm super happy.
Well, there really is some amazing competition in this series. And we hope to see both of you back when the Pro Series kicks off in what will be only a few short weeks, I'm sure.
Yeah, indeed. I'll certainly be there.
All right, guys. Thank you. Well done, Watch. Congratulations.
Well done, both of you guys. Yeah, it's been a class season watching you both.
Cheers, guys. Good.
Alex Simpson and Wojciech Savidovic there, Adam, and well deserved from Apex Racing. They did a great job in the end.
Oh yeah, they won the team's championship by 457 in the end. Incidentally, Sim Sports Racing USA, it looks like a pipped CQR to second place in that final race of the season. They move into second, and CQR move down to third. It's obviously not helped by the fact that Sutton or neither Sutton nor Baker pretty much raced in any of the 3 races that we had today. Right, we have got the.
They give us a warning.
We've got the boosted contingent, and with a flick of the wrist. Sorry, Adam. We've got the boosted contingent, or some of the boosted contingent, in the interview room here to digest the final round of the season.
I think we've got to go to Alex Neller first of all. By the way, Alex, we said last week that you weren't that happy with your driving at Belle Isle, but you've come away with a second place today. You must be fantastic. Really happy.
Hi guys, I'm honestly absolutely ecstatic. What a way to finish the season! And although the 5 points that I gave Wodge there weren't actually critical for him to win the season in the end, spiritually, he still owes me a world championship. And
going into next season then, obviously we don't know everything about what's going to happen next season, but you're hoping to return for the Pro Series?
Unfortunately not. I'm actually going to have to sit this year out, unfortunately, but I will definitely be looking to return in the future. This has been an absolute blast. This is my first time doing any kind of competitive league racing, and I'm hooked. I can't get enough of it now. I'm honestly gutted that I have to miss the next season.
We hope to see you at least every now and again, if you can. But
yes, definitely.
But yeah, it's been a great start. And Adam, how pleased are you for Alex on that final race?
Ecstatic for him, ecstatic for David, Lars. You've seen we've got a few new guys racing for the first time this season, and they've all acquitted themselves beautifully. They've got stuck in. They've held their hands up when they've made mistakes. They've celebrated hard when they've got good results. Yeah, it's been a joy for all of them to be part of this team. It's brilliant for all of them.
And it was looking really.
They've had good pace as well.
Yeah.
Sorry, Adam.
Yeah.
Sorry, mate.
Out the box. And at the start of the season, it was a little bit rough, but you've experienced what it's like to come in here for the first time. The amount of cars, the amount of you're never on your own on track. So the start of the season was rough for them.
My first meeting went all right, though, I'd say. So I'm not going to moan about it too much.
They got up to speed incredibly quickly, and they've finished the season off incredibly strong. It's been a joy to watch them.
Oh, David was looked like he was on course for the Pro-Am title at one point in that final race.
We were trying to manufacture him as many positions as possible. As soon as he got close to us, we were just trying to give him a tow, let him go. Well, I say we. I was obviously way at the back, but the team were trying to manufacture places for him.
Yes, there was a lot of team driving in that evening there.
Adam, it seems like you made a few friends with that tyre barrier at the back of the course there. A couple of times you ended up in there.
Oh, don't! I was pretty much doing the whole oval section one-handed.
I was going to say, what's it like driving an Audi with no force feedback at all?
Numb. Just numb. No, I had the teeniest bit on there. I tried it with no force feedback, and it was horrendous. So I put the tiniest little bit on there, but yeah, when it starts going, especially in the first couple of laps where the tyres are a little bit cooler, you can get a spin on. And I couldn't identify it quick enough to be able to sort it out.
Did you have some help there as well? Did you get hit, or was it?
The first one in race 1, that was all me. I just dropped it. The second one, I want to say that Rob outbroke himself, but I don't know. It's one of those. Like I thought he'd conceded because he fell behind, and then as I've gone to turn in, he's reappeared, wanting to keep the place. So yeah, it's one of those. Not ideal, but it is what it is. You know, we still come away with great results for the team tonight. So that's the important thing.
Well, so much happened.
Sorry, Adam.
I was just gonna...
Every time.
I'll be quiet now. I'll mute my mic.
It doesn't help when we're not in the same room. Alex, you must have got a decent view of the incident at the bus stop chicane between your teammate Simon and Jack Sedgwick at one point. There was a bit between those two.
Yes. Yeah, there was certainly more than a little bit of contact. And it seemed to carry on for about half the lap, I must say. Probably the longest I've seen two cars together, physically touching, that I've ever seen in iRacing. Yes, it was some very hard racing, and obviously it's very disappointing for Jack that the championship had to end like that, but that's racing.
Okay.
Sorry. I was just saying.
I think me and Woody just didn't want to stumble over each other. Next, before we let you go, then, guys, it's been great. It's been brilliant watching you throughout the whole season. Who wants to do the shout-outs?
Can I do it, please?
I'll take it away. The floor is yours.
Excellent. Well, first of all, I'd just like to give a massive individual thank you to all of my boosted teammates. So that's Hedge and John and Ted and Lee and Lars and David and Simon and Sean, and honourable mention to Hedge for pulling the weight, spending loads of time every week making fantastic setups for us each week. Big thanks to Adam and Woody for doing a fantastic show each week, and I would like to give my final and biggest thank you to possibly the biggest unsung hero of the Apex Racing League, which is Sam Kumo on the cameras.
There you go.
Here.
Well,
and also thank you to all the stewards and the Apex Racing League guys, George and Sam and Lee for doing all the stewarding. We've been very impressed this season.
well, that's great. Thanks for the appreciation as well. I hope John Roberts' back is all right as well. I completely forgot to.
He seemed to
Apparently,
survive.
he'd done that. He'd done it washing his knees in the shower this morning. Apparently.
Oh right.
Oh dear.
Yeah, like I don't know how he bends to wash his knees, but
He's getting old. He'll have to retire him soon.
yeah, we got a box.
Oh dear. Well, I'll tell you, the final was the bee's knees. Hey. So it was a good race. I'm sure you'll be delighted to finish off like that.
Yes, indeed.
Well done,
I've got
chaps. Thank
nothing.
you very
I wanted
much.
to say something, but I'd have the wrath of Paul Smith bearing down on me. I can't make a TED pun.
Well, now you're being ejected. So see you later. Thank you.
Toodles.
Right, good riddance. No.
We do have for the final words of we do have the Smart Time Immortal team waiting for us in the interview room.
Yes.
Mark Woodhouse, Michael Blake, and Scott Malcolm. Michael Blake, who very nearly won race 3. Mark Woodhouse, who very nearly won the Pro-Am Championship if it wasn't for Belle Isle and whatnot. And we've also got Scott Malcolm, who had a solid finish to the campaign as well. And they're all with us in the interview room now.
Evening.
Hello.
How you doing?
The Woodhouse contingent has increased a bit. Michael, we'll start off with you. A good end to the season, and if Kip had dropped down the order a little bit more, it looked like the Pro-Am title was almost on for you there at the very end of race 3.
Well, apparently Kip's looking like he might get a penalty, so if the end of race 2 hadn't gone the way it did, I'd probably would have won the AM. But we're not going to talk about race 2.
Okay.
It's all happened.
Yeah, I think it's just literally come back to me. Yeah, I think we all saw it. But the final 2 races of the season, Mark Woodhouse, Belle Isle and Daytona. That's where the Pro-Am title fight unravelled for you. Belle Isle was a really tough event for you there.
Yeah, it was going fairly well until race 2, and then I got a big netcode contact with Foggy and got a meatball, so that sort of ruined that night. And then tonight in qualifying, I got tagged, and it sent me across the infield on the first horseshoe, and it DQ'd me from the session, and I couldn't race in race 1. So that was the end of me really for the season.
And also here, Scott Malcolm. Scott, good end to the season for you. You able to maintain your position inside the top 10. But how would you rate your season as a whole?
I thought I did pretty well this year. Just to get that top 10 at the end of the season is just icing on the cake. But it's all testament to the rest of the guys for getting where we are.
Yeah, Scott's coming on a lot this season. He's doing really well.
Yes.
And Michael, how have you found this new season, this first season in the Audi, and working together with all of these guys?
I'm loving it. Just grateful that Mad have me on board. They're such a great group of guys. Always helpful. Put up with all my shenanigans, and yeah, they've really helped me improve as a driver. Just big thanks to them. Every single member of that team is amazing.
You had Paul as well for your team as well, and he had the possibility of maybe getting the Pro-Am title in the final few races of the season. Were you trying to do everything as much as you guys could to try and get him to the front at all?
Well, we said in practice, most important thing is we wrap up the teams. And then we'll see where we shake out after the teams has been decided.
And you were able to do that by quite a bit in the end, 121 points over Boosted Sim Sport. You guys must be delighted with that title as well.
Yeah, I am. After mine went down the drain tonight, it was nice to actually win something. So yeah, and a big thanks to Paul as well for being the team manager this season. He's done a really good job.
Well, my next season.
Paul almost took the title as well at the end. It could have
Yeah.
It was very close in the end for him. Sorry, Adam.
Next season, then, guys. Are all of you going to be back for a push for the the ARL TCR Pro Series?
We'll be back for next season. I'm not sure what division they'll put us in, but hopefully whatever they put us in, we can be competitive.
Yeah, and I think with what the performances you guys have shown throughout the season, I reckon if you're still in the Pro-Am title fight, I think one of you could push for the drivers fight. That's for sure. Great. Well,
just seen Paul Smith handbrake turning into Scott on the cool down lap. Have a bit of that, he says.
His excuse was he pressed the wrong button.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure he did. Oh, wait a minute. Here he is. Hold on.
Oh, hang on.
Apparently, Paul, you pressed the wrong button on the cooldown lap.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. It's all fun and games, isn't it?
I tell you. Well, this is about the most northern the commentary box gets, actually, with me and someone else from Yorkshire and the Scotsman in here.
Absolutely. I'm sure this is the start of a joke, but anyway.
How did you get on today, mate? It was very close, actually, to the title in the end for yourself, but good performance nonetheless.
Race one knackered it up for me. I just didn't get enough points in that race one, so it was thinking of the team game. And that was the most important thing for me now. Once we got into the second race, it was right, score points. And I'm actually surprised that I ended up in third, to be honest, in the championship. So I'll take that.
Wouldn't have taken too much more, as we were saying to the boys here, for you to nick that one. But yeah, as we see you lining up for your team photo at the back of the circuit. I'm sure, as a team principal, Paul, you must be really happy with the season as a whole.
I think the team has done fantastic. It's a shame that Diogo had his computer blow up halfway through the season, and Miguel and Majek as well have been busy. Chris is feeling a little bit under the weather, so all the best to him as well. So it was a shame that team couldn't really have an assault on anything to do with the pro title, but yeah, I mean, this team for the Pro-Am, it was fantastic. We worked really well together. Hats off to Michael and Mark for giving it a go right to the end of the driver's title, and hats off as well to Scott. He has come on so much in this last season, and he keeps on this progression. He's going to have a chance of going for a Pro-Am title. So absolutely, this team has worked really well. And
I can attest to that, Paul, as well, because I've raced Scott a lot in the past as well, and like there were times when, with respect, Scott, I used to come up to you and think, oh, this one's not going to be too much trouble. And when we raced you a few months ago, I couldn't get near you. So that's how much it's improved. So keep it up.
That's testament to these guys here. They're the ones that took a punt on me, and just the advice and the help that they've given me over this winter series has been just second to.
Well, I think the most important thing is taking a punt on yourself, believing in yourself, and pushing yourself forward. And you've certainly done that, mate. Well done.
Yeah, cheers, Andrew.
Right, guys. Well, we're gonna have to kick you all out now because we've been here for a while. But thank you very much for joining us, Paul. As you're the principal of Smile Time, you can say thanks to the sponsors and whoever you want.
Well, I was just going to quickly mention that this is me stepping aside from racing in this championship today. So, yeah, that is going to be my involvement in this championship as a driver, at least, over and done with for the time being. So,
done for good, or back occasionally, or what?
We'll see. We'll see what happens. At the moment, I've got a few other things going on, so I can't commit the time that I need to this championship. So I think it's only fair that we give other people in Team Mad an opportunity to be able to come through into that team. But as always, thank you to Fan and Takeover Clockers UK. It's immortal because Michael will kill me if I don't say that. Phoenix Racing, the Simon Racing Report, and of course we support Calder Rescue, which is a mud sport rescue unit who are a charitable organisation. Check them out online, Calder Rescue.
Perfect. Well, if it is your last race for a while, Paul, then well, thanks for being a big part of the championship for so long. And like I said, I'm sure it won't be the last we see of you.
Oh, I'm sure I'll be around somewhere. I'm like a bad smell.
With that, ladies and gentlemen,
So,
we'll let you guys go. Enjoy the fun of the evening, and yeah, we'll see you guys back in the Pro Series in a few weeks, hopefully.
See you guys.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Cheers, Bye.
Takes time to kick them all out, you see, Adam.
I feel bad signing off of having a word with this guy. Yeah, we're going to get him in now. And so it falls to this guy to have the final say of the 2019-20 ARL TCR Winter Series. It's Dave Baker.
It's tradition.
Yeah.
Yeah, I finally made it in. Wasn't my night tonight, but I got to watch some great racing in the first two races. So yeah, it looked like a really good, interesting end to the championship. That's what we want.
Well, race one saw Wojciech and Simmons and Cedric leading the way at the front until Ross McFarlane had his say on things, got into the back of Simmons, and then it looked like that was Wojciech's championship falling away because he revealed to us afterwards he had issues with his pad, with his controller as well.
Yeah, I thought Jack was going to come through, and I think one of the guys, it might have been Alex when you were interviewing him earlier, said it. Jack has definitely been the guy to beat this season. Wodge got the luck in the end, but Jack's had the speed. So they're going to be such a force coming back next season. Always the ones to beat.
Unfortunately for you, and with Ash Sutton not being here, I think it means that Sim Sports Racing USA did pip you to second in the teams championship. But that aside, yeah,
I know. We're not going to live that down in between the team chat, and it's our own fault because we convinced one of the drivers to come back for like the last couple of rounds to help score some extra points to solidify them in third, but turns out they got second instead. So
no, the plan backfired.
Backfired.
What about your season as a whole? I know you missed today, but overall, your first season in the Audi, you got 2 wins. Wins at just having a look at where they were for you. Now, wins at Catalunya, a new track there, and a win at Watkins Glen as well.
Yeah, it's been good actually. The change of car's been a nice refresh. It's harder to get the wins every season. It's got harder and harder and harder, and so to pick up 2, I'm really pleased with that. Generally, I came into the Showdown in a pretty good, strong position, like most years. Fell away for various reasons, but overall, I'm pleased with how I did. I think I got stronger as the season went on. And, okay, I didn't finish 6th, but I finished 9th, turn it upside down, kind of the same thing. So,
I was gonna say, when we did the points at the beginning of the show earlier, I think you had 10,666 points or something like that.
It would be something like that, wouldn't it? It'd have to be. But yeah, no, it's been a really good season. I've been really fortunate that the guys behind the scenes have allowed me to kind of be part of that. Say I worked behind the scenes with BSR before it became the ARL TCR series, and sort of continued a little bit on that. But a bit like Paul stepping away, as I understand from his role in Team Mad as a driver in the series, I'm going to be stepping away from the behind the scenes role at ARL now. So no more contacting me about stewarding decisions or anything like that. I'm not going to be involved in that anymore. But I think from what I've seen with where the guys want to go with it, it's in safe hands, and it's just going to go from strength to strength. I'm really looking forward to what Sam and the team have got planned for season 2.
Yeah, well, all of us are looking forward to the ARL TCR Pro Series next season. CQR and you guys are expecting to get a full contingent back out there on the track next year as well? Well, this year, in a couple of weeks.
I don't know what the contingent will be, but there'll definitely be a team of us. So we'll see who it is. But yeah, we're definitely going to be back. You're not going to get us out this championship anytime.
There we go. Well, that's what we like to hear. Well, as it's coming up to 11 o'clock, we'll let you do the shout outs and the messages from CQR, and we'll call it tonight, I think, Dave. So take it away.
I mean, it's probably already been said, it is thanks to kind of you guys putting on these broadcasts, Sam working the cameras, the guys behind the scenes, everybody who's watched on the esports network, has given it a like and a subscribe and all that sort of stuff. Series doesn't exist without that sort of goings on, and all the drivers for taking part and putting on wonderful racing throughout this season. Long may it continue.
Indeed. And Dave, it's always good to speak to you at the end of the season. Hear your thoughts on proceedings, and hopefully we'll see you back next time. Unlucky tonight.
That's the way it goes, but I'm always going to be back for more.
That's it. All right. So are we. So we'll see you next time. Dave Baker there, Adam, and once again, it's time to end another season. So thank you first of all, and Sam for being with me throughout this championship. How good was this last meeting to finish?
Oh god, yeah. Well, what a
It
great.
was so good, and he choked on it.
Right, a lot of words. Yeah, that final race meeting, every single race had drama in it. Race 1, Wojciech Savidovic having issues with what sounds like his controller, which results in him finishing at the back, starting at the back as well, because the reverse grid didn't work in his favour there. We had the late race controversy between Blackhall and Blake, which Blake definitely didn't sound too happy about there, probably for good reason. And then race 3, well, it looked like Cedric was on course for the title at one point, but then I didn't realise that, of course, there was the contact between Field and Sedgwick at the bus stop chicane, and then of course they hit each other again at the first corner. I can't remember if it was a lap later or not, but yeah, they came to blows again, and that was what set the title in Wojciech Savidovic's favour, and Sedgwick ends up coming 14 points short in the end. But hopefully he's back next season, and those two, now that they've got to grips with the Audi after this winter series, they'll be eager to make sure that they can stop each other from winning the title again. So yeah, really looking forward to seeing what's going to happen next season. And it must be said, close fights in the Pro-Am Championship and in the Teams Championship as well. Well done to all those guys. Kip Stevens winning the title by 13 points, and an Apex Racing team winning by just over 450.
Oh yeah, massive congratulations to them. Just on the race 2, the Michael Blake thing, he says he could have won the AM title without that crash, and yes, technically it's true, but I reckon he'd have probably taken a penalty for the Newman one earlier on in the race. So it might have been maybe not as clear cut as what he might think in the end. Anyway, it's time to end right now. So thank you everybody for watching here on the iRacing Esports Network. It's been a wonderful season, and at the end of it all, it's 6 for Savidovic. Good night.